Accountants Development Committee of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, your noble institute, your professional institute. So my professional colleagues all here, you're all welcome. And other guests who are here to have this special time with us, this special evening, our Valentine evening as young people. ICAN is giving you your Valentine gift as a young person. So welcome on board today. And today we're going to be speaking on shaping the future, young accountants in leadership, innovation, and national development. So we're here as young people, young accountants, ready to impact and always ready, always there to impact our nation. And now in the area of leadership, innovation, and national development. So good afternoon, everyone here, all my distinguished speakers who are going to be making this section actually a wonderful time out with you. And everyone here, Secretariat, thank you for hosting us and giving us this platform to do this. I'm also bringing you greetings from the 61st president of our institute, Dr. Haruna Yahya. He says his well wishes to us, especially Valentine well wishes. It is a pleasure to welcome you all to this important session organized by the Young Accountants Development Committee. Today, we are not just here to earn credit hours because it's a free webinar, yet you are getting value in credit hours. We're here to reflect on our own role in shaping the future of our profession and our nation as young professional accountants. The thing before us is indeed intriguing, is powerful, is interesting. Leadership, innovation, and national development. These three words may sound big, they may sound interesting, but are they very practical? Yes, they are. They speak directly to our daily choices at work, in business, and in the society. First, let us look at that word leadership. Leadership is not about a position that you are in at any point in time or a title, as people would perceive it. Or here, leadership to us today, and what we are speaking to as leadership is, as many people may think, some people may think that leadership starts when you become a manager and a partner. No, as a young professional, that is not what we are talking about now today. What we're talking about today is leadership that starts with responsibility. Wherever you are a leader, and you need to have that mindset and begin to see yourself as a leader. Is where you begin to take responsibility as a leader that you will actually get to that very high end of our profession someday, sometime. It starts with that courage to do the right thing, even when it is difficult to do it. As young accountants, people trust us with records, with money, and with decisions. The trust means we must lead with honesty, competence, and accountability. The future leaders of businesses, institutions, and even government are in rooms like this today. Now let's look at that word innovation. The accounting profession is changing fast. Technology is changing how we work. Automation, data analytics, and digital systems are no longer optional. So the question is whether change, the question is not whether change is coming. The question is whether we are ready for it. Innovation, as one would always know, it is not only about technology, it is about a mindset. It is about asking, how can this process become better? How can I work smarter? How can I add value beyond the routine task? So young accountants must move from just recording from numbers to interrupting numbers and advising management and providing insight and drive growth. If we do not innovate, we risk being left behind. And then another thing we're going to be listening to today is on national development. A nation develops when resources are properly managed. When institutions are strong, and when there is transparency and accountability, accountants play a central role in all these areas. Every report that is accurate and every proper control systems and every ethical decisions contributes to a stronger economy. Corruption, waste, and poor financial management slow down development, but professionalism, integrity, and sound financial practices help nations to grow. So when we talk about national development, we are talking about not something far away from us. We are talking about what we are doing to make sure that our country grows. We are talking about our daily work as young professional accountants. The way we handle accounts, the way we handle our budgets, our audits, our controls to date, and other things, strategic units that we belong to, affects Nigerians' future today, tomorrow, and forever. When we connect these three together, we see a clear message. Leadership gives us direction, innovation gives us a better tool, and national development is the result of both doing well together. As young professional accountants, we must decide the kind of professionals we want to be. Do we want to be ordinary accountants who just do their jobs? This is what they asked me to do, and I'm fine with it. I'm not going to do beyond this. And the way they've asked me to do it is how I am going to do it. Or do we want to be leaders who will use the skills to create impact? Young accountants, young professional accountants, colleagues, and everyone listening today, my charge to everyone here today is simple. Take your personal development seriously, and ICAN is here to help you take it seriously. Embrace learning and technology as you have done today. Stand firm on integrity. Be willing to lead even without a title. And always remember that your profession is a service to society, not just a means of income. The future of the accounting profession is in your hands. The future of leadership in Nigeria will be influenced by your values. And the future of our national development will depend in part on how well you manage resources and uphold professional standards. Let us be the generation of accountants that leads with integrity, innovates with courage, and contributes meaningfully to the development of our nation. Thank you, and I wish us all a very engaging, insightful, and very impactful session as we stand by to listen. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Chairman, for that well-delivered opening remarks. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before we move to the next paper, I want to do some few summaries of what the chairman has just told us. Saying we should do the right thing, even if it is difficult to do it. Are we ready for innovation? She also told us that a nation develops where resources are properly managed and institutions are very strong. Then for those of us who are youth, she said the future of accounting profession is in our hands. And lastly, she told us that we should lead with integrity. Thank you very much, Madam Chairman, for that opening remarks. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we want to move into the presentation proper. Our first presentation will be done by a partner from KPMG, Mr. Uzochukwu Obienu, FCA. And he is going to be speaking to us on mentorship in tech and business for young accountants. So before he commences his paper, I'm going to do a small introduction of Uzochukwu Obienu, who is a partner with KPMG. So Uzo is a partner in the Tax, Regulatory, and People Services Division of KPMG. He's a graduate of accounting and holds MBA, Masters in Business Administration. He's a member of our Noble Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, and an associate of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, CITN. His experience broadly covers tax advisory, compliance, policy, and strategy. He has led various teams to provide tax advisory, compliance, and due diligence services to local and multinational companies, particularly in the oil and gas value chain. He has also led strategy and policy engagement in the public sector space. Notably, he was the project director for the Presidential Policy Dialogue in 2018 and a technical lead to the Presidential Steering Committee for the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act between 2021 and 2023. He's a partner in charge of tax training in Nigeria and the lead for the midstream and downstream oil and gas subsector of KPMG West Africa. Uzo is an accredited KPMG trainer and loves to teach. He's a regular faculty at the KPMG Tax Business School, ICAN seminars, and other training programs. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome Mr. Uzochukwu Obiano, FCA, partner with KPMG, to speak to us on the topic, mentorship in tech and business for young accountants. Mr. Obiano, the mic is yours, sir. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Balogun. And thank you, my chair and a mentor to many young people in June. Each time we think of you or see you, it's a reminder of the great heights that young people can indeed attain if they diligently follow the path and continue to work hard. I also want to thank the Institute president and everyone in the council for the opportunity to be here. Colleagues, it's an honor to be here, to be doing one of the things I love to do the most. And I'm very happy that today, for some time, I won't be speaking on tax or tax-related issues, but I'll be speaking on something that is very passionate to me as well. I'll be talking about mentorship. I'll be talking about career opportunities. And I'll also be looking at the tech value chain and seeing how young accounting professionals can key into that. So it's my honor to be here. So in the next, within the next few minutes, maybe about 30, 40 minutes, we will get into the topic of our discussion, and then we'll take it from there. Please, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, we can see it from here, sir. From the secretariat, yes.
Okay, so it's a very interesting topic, and I'm happy that the way it's also been layered. If you listen to our chair speak, she spoke passionately around what young people can do also in leadership, and not waiting for the moment, but seizing it as it comes and taking advantage of every opportunity to lead and to demonstrate leadership. But I dare say that if we must get there, then we also must be at the level where we are keen on learning and getting the right mentorship so that we can ultimately become the leaders that the world is waiting on us to become. So it's really interesting the way we have layered the conversation, because today we'll start with mentorship. And mentorship will look at the tech pathways for accountants, business, entrepreneurship opportunities. And then number 4 is a very relevant slide that I'd like us to pay close attention to in terms of looking at the core skills, critical skills that if you call yourself a young accountant and you are keen on growing, then you must be looking to develop those skills. Then we will try to bring it all together, and much later we'll take questions. Okay, so if I may start with mentorship. I mean, I have so many beautiful things on the slide, but I like to look at mentorship from various perspectives I'll tell us what it is and what is not, and then we can also differentiate it from other things we think mentorship is. Personally, I have mentors, and I am also mentor to some other people. And so it's something that I have seen it help my career as a person and still helping my career, because you never get to the point where you begin to feel that, no, I don't need anybody anymore. No, you never get there. You really never get there, because you always want to have someone who is able to look you in the face and tell you, well, this one that you're talking about, I don't think that it is the right thing for you to do at the moment. I'm sure you will say, well, you're a partner in KPMG. What else? No. I've been a partner for some years, but I have people that have been partners and have retired. So when they tell you about partnership, you will do what? You will listen. As I'm speaking to you, I have a meeting scheduled with a mentor for next month. I have quarterly meetings. So it's something that I believe so much in. My style of it is not to have one mentor, but to have mentors across different areas, more like having a board of myself, a board of me kind of approach. That's my approach. But if I may say, why does it really matter for you to have a mentor or for you to embrace mentorship? Like I said, I've been partner for some years, but some other persons have been partners and retired. I was privileged to work with the chairman of KPMG Africa for 2 years. You know what it means to be chairman of KPMG Africa for 2 years? You have worked, he probably put in close to 40 years of work. By the time he was becoming chair of Africa, he had worked for maybe 35 years, been a partner for more like 19 to 20 years. So what do you think his role will be in the career of someone like me? It means that everything that he took so long to learn, I can shorten that learning curve very quickly, because he's able to say, no, I made this mistake, so there's no reason why you should go back to this route. It will only lead to X, Y mistake. Generally, your mentor is positioned in a way that helps with your critical career decisions, right? He's able to take the knowledge that you have. We're hardworking people, smart people. We have written ICAN, we are qualified, we are ready to go. But there's a transformation that happens between that knowledge and wisdom that is required to run the race. Knowledge is good, but wisdom is what is profitable. The mentor is able to say, from where I sit, I think you should take up X responsibility. And I'm speaking from experience. A few months back, I was discussing with one of my mentors, and he said, I think you should seek to take up X kind of opportunity in KPMG. There is something I think it will expose you to balance out some of the skills that you have. And there's a level of exposure I think it will give you. And like they say, God works in mysterious ways. It wasn't up to 3 months, an opportunity opened in that area. What do you think I would have done? Haven't heard about it from my mentor. Immediately, I took the opportunity. I mean, it was going to be additional work. It was additional responsibility. It was going to eat into my time. But I was leaning on the shoulder of someone who had foresight, who had seen it play out maybe 25 years. This is my 4th year in the partnership. Okay? And so you can compare when you say 25 years versus 4 years. So it really matters that you have a mentor. Like I said, my approach is not one mentor. My approach is a board. A board. They don't all know themselves, but some of them know themselves. And later I will tell you some of the critical things you need to look at when you are selecting that board of you. It's like you are the company, you are the business, and you have set up a board to put you in check, to make sure you are profitable, to make sure that you are delivering on the set KPIs. And in some instances, they also set KPIs for you. In one of my meetings with one other mentor, he said that by the next time I will be having our conversation, I expect that you would have done X, Y, Z, and then we can talk about it. So that's the KPI that he set right there for you. And so you are chasing it. Never get to a point where you feel so comfortable that you know it all. Never get to that point. It's a point of destruction because, once you stop learning, once you stop developing, once you stop growing, the natural thing that will happen is that you plateau for a while and then you begin to decelerate and you begin to go down. That's natural. That's life. So we must never get there. Whether you're 20 now, you're 50 now, you're 60 now, never get to that point where you think that you don't need to grow, you don't need to learn anymore. Now, but mentorship is not in any way saying that you will stop working hard. In fact, if you have the right mentors, you get to work harder. Because you just have, like I told you, you just have additional KPIs that nobody is aware. It may not even be speaking directly to your job. It might be that there are 4 books that is asking you to read. That the next time we'll discuss this. There's an insight I gleaned from book X, and I like you to read that book, and then we can discuss it. So you find yourself that you are even working harder. Mentorship is not necessarily friendship. You could be lucky in the process you have a mentor who is a friend. It's fine, but it's not necessarily friendship. It's not therapy. Oh, they did this to me, they did that to me. Well, you could get that in a mentorship relationship, but that's not what it's about. And it is never one-sided. When you become parasitic as a person, when it has to do with your mentor, it takes away from that mentorship relationship. Okay? And it does not guarantee advocacy. It doesn't mean that, don't worry, I'll speak to her. Don't worry, I'll speak to that person. In the next few slides, I'll try to distinguish it from some other things that we think mentorship is. It does not guarantee advocacy. It does not mean that they will always be the one speaking. Sometimes you find that your mentor is quiet, even in the circumstance. And then you'll be like, but you were sitting there and then you didn't say anything. Yeah, it was necessary for me to keep quiet at that time so you could pick the lessons from that passion or that session or whatever it was. So don't expect that it will be all advocacy, somebody that will champion my cause, as it were. And an idea say that it is not permanent. It is not permanent. A lot of us grew up with our parents as mentors. A lot of us, not all. But you also realize that you get to a point in time, depending on the career choices that you have made, you may find that your parent may not be the right mentor. It might well be that, you still listen to their hunch and to how they feel about things, but they have not traveled that path before. The path that you are taking, they have not traveled that path before. So it becomes a little bit difficult for them to mentor you right. Mentorship presupposes knowledge, not just knowledge that's been transformed to wisdom on the path that you are trying to tread, or at least somewhere around that path. So it may not be that your parents continue to be your mentor for the longest time. It's good to look up to them, but we must find the right mentor. Now, it's important that we understand. We've gone through why mentorship matters, but it's important that we also x-ray some of the things and how to find the right mentors, given the things that we have said mentorship should look like. Okay? So if you are looking to get mentors, if you don't have mentors already, you must ask yourself, why do I need a mentor? Relevant question, because it's the why that then drives the other reasons. We have tried to talk about some of the things that a mentor should stand for and the rationale. I mean, borrowing from that first slide, you may then begin to ask yourself, okay, why do I need a mentor? And once you decide that, then you will then find that you will be focused on what is relevant, not necessarily who is senior to you. What is important is who has traveled the path. That is a very important aspect. Who has traveled that path before? The person must not be your senior, but you may find that what you are looking for is right there in that person. So don't despise your mates. Don't despise, oh, just 2 years, but it's my senior. I'm looking for a 40-year experience, but it may not work that way. It may not work that way. Now, your professional communities and various platforms that we have also give us the opportunity to even have mentors beyond our immediate reach. I like to be able to have meetings, physical meetings, with the people that I consider part of my board, the board of my life, But it does not mean that it is restricted to that alone. And you must be intentional in terms of how you approach it. You must be very intentional. Sometimes we see people, oh, the person is wealthy, the person is this, so it will be good for this person to be my mentor. Narrow, very narrow in scope. You have taken the wrong tangent to the topic. In fact, you have lost the plot. So it's not always about who is wealthy, who is positioned. Remember what I said. Who has traveled that path before? Very important. It may not necessarily be the exact same route that you are taking. I have a mentor who has nothing to do with consulting. One of my mentors has absolutely nothing to do with consulting. He's an engineer. He's been a field engineer all his life, and later went into management, still in field, drilling and all of that. So it's nothing to do with the accounting profession, But you must be clear. What are the skills? What are the experiences I should prioritize at my current level? Those are the kind of things that guide you. Remember, we said mentorship is not permanent. Okay. What are the things I should be conscious of that I would like to avoid? Who will help me navigate these things? How do I know when to specialize? When to move out? At some point in my career, I told one of my mentors that, you see, I'm looking to leave. And he had a very, very loud laugh. And he drew through 2 graphs for me. And the conversation lasted maybe 20, 25 minutes. And there was clarity around how I should proceed from where I was at the time. Sometimes some of us have left jobs because of burnout. When you burn out, what you need to do is rest. Take a vacation, rest. You don't leave. You must have real reasons why you leave a job. It must be very clear. I'm tired is not a reason. You'll be tired again. I can assure you, you will be tired again. And if you jump each time you are tired, I don't know how many places you would have visited in the course of your career. But a mentor sees it. A mentor says, yes, I get it. I know how this feels. And says, sit now. And in 5, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, is able to provide some clarity on how to go from there. What about habits and behaviors that helped to fast track, that helped to make the early career life very successful? For those of us that are a little bit older that are on this call, you find that sometimes you are in an establishment, young people come in, and in a matter of 1 year, 2 years, you can already distinguish between some of the young people and some others, and you can already say that no, this one is doing some things right. Somebody guided that person. Somebody provided insight. Somebody was able to say, you need to make X investment in X skill in this environment for you to be successful. That is how you begin to understand what to look for and what do you ask of your mentor. If you look at that list, did you see money anywhere on the right hand side of what I have there? Did you see money? There is no thing around financial anywhere there, which unfortunately seem to rule the criteria that we use for selected mentorship or mentors, as it were. Now, here we're going to differentiate very quickly the difference between a mentor, a sponsor, a coach, and a role model. A role model is up there, more like your Northern Star. You look and say, oh, wow, this guy is fantastic. This guy is doing it very well, it inspires you, shows you what is possible. but may not necessarily be a mentor. Okay, the sponsor is the one that most of us think is our mentor. The sponsor uses influence, creates an opportunity for you. Say, don't worry, I'll talk to X, I'll talk to Y, I'll do this, I'll do that. Don't worry, go there. When you go there, tell them I sent you. That's a sponsor. That's a sponsor. Might also be important in the career, but that is not the person that we're talking about today. Now, the coach is the person that's closest to the mentor, but for coaching, for most of the time, it's really focused on specific skills and also, to help you improve performance. Maybe you are lacking in a particular skill, a coach. That's why sometimes they recommend certain levels of coaching. There are people that run professional coaching classes in one area or the other and everything. They are not your mentors, but they can help you fine-tune specific skills and help you improve on those skills. So a coach could teach you how to talk, how to get into an environment, how to break the ice, how to get people on your side, how to win with people. A coach can do that. But when you look at a mentor, that's provides guidance, perspectives, long-term career decision, direction. That's a mentor. So it's possible that the mentor may combine the role of a role model. Sometimes your mentor could still be your role model. In some instances, he might be in a position where he can also be a career sponsor. And I might be able to provide direction as far as specific skills is concerned. But more importantly, his role is a little bit more long-term, right? He's looking at you not just today. He's looking at you and saying, what do you need in 4 years' time that you need to be building today? How do we chart this career such that by year 5, we should be talking middle-level management? He has an understanding of your context. He has an understanding of your environment, and he's able to look at you and see what skills you need to add, what you must stop doing to be able to move into the right level and be able to propel you to the next level in your career or business. That's a mentor. And I dare say that if I look at all 4 here, contrary to what we may think, the mentor probably stands out. The mentor stands out. The role model, you may not even know who your role model is. Who your role model may not know who you are. That's what I mean. May not even know. You just admire the person and you look, this is how I want it to be. I may be the one that is propelling certain actions. But the mentor, for the most part, is able to provide that level of personal touch to the conversation. Now, let's look at mentorship for early career, and some of the things that a mentor can help you to navigate. A clarification is very important. There is always this, I don't know about in my first few years, there was a struggle. I started my career in the bank. I left the bank, I joined KPMG. When I was leaving the bank, one of my mentors was worried, a bit worried. But when we had some conversation, he said, "Yeah, okay, it's fine." In terms of the unit to join in KPMG, we had some conversations and all of that. Okay, this is my 19th year of working with KPMG, 19th year running. So you can think about how tax was at that time. But one of my mentors could see that tax is not yet very big, but it will become very big. He could see that. The natural place for people to go to at that time was audit, and absolutely nothing wrong with audit. Absolutely nothing wrong with audit. But sometimes you are able to sit back and say, who knew that fintech was going to be a thing in the last 20 years? Probably the real fintechs that we had at that time was, I think, was eTransact and maybe InterSwitch. Those were the real fintechs that we had at that time. But somebody needs to be able to say, the way I see things going, X and Y may become what it is. In any case, as of today, it's not bad, but the trajectory is looking like it's going to be this big. Today, before you have 4 conversations on national issues, there is no way you will not mention taxation. There is absolutely no way you will not mention taxation. So it's also part of what the mentorship platforms affords you. A little bit of projection into the future, because you don't know. You're just a young boy. Okay, I was leaving the bank and all of that. So what was it going to be? I mean, I liked the feel of KPMG. I liked KPMG. I've been passionate about working with KPMG, but you had to still make a choice. You probably had, as at that time, maybe 11 different units to possibly select from. Now it's much, much, much more than that. But you needed to make a choice. Okay? Yeah. Guidance on managing setback. You know, in the course of your career, whether you like it or not, even for very, very beautiful careers, there are some times when things don't go your way. And I've had a time when it didn't go my way. You know, I walked up to one of my mentors and I said, hey, look, I did XYZ and this thing, and XYZ didn't turn out that way. And he said, sit down. Okay, you're right to push, to be angry, to be do this, to do that. But, you know, within a career lifetime, I can never forget what he told me. He said, within a career lifetime, 1 year is a very short time. 1 year is a very short time within a career lifetime. So what you're doing is not a sprint. You are preparing for a career. A career spans, if you're lucky, your career could be spanning 35 years, could span 40 years, depending on when you started. And then if you also pivot somewhere along the line and go into some form of business, you can even take it up to 50 years. My mom's career spanned 47 years, for instance. So it's possible that it's a long time, but you know, some of us have made some very costly mistakes because of a setback that happened in 1 year, a 1 year setback, a 1 year setback. So it's someone that is able to say, look, I need you to understand that this is how it works. And then he helps you, you know, go through it, and also guides you to manage expectations, how to manage your time, how to, you know, build confidence, build resilience, you know, and share coping strategies as far as things like burnout. I talked about burnout earlier, where very young people these days, burnout is a very common thing. People are prioritizing health. People are prioritizing mental health as well, much more than any other thing. But you know, you also need to build grit for a successful career. There might be times when you feel really tired. And like I said, if you're tired, you rest. If you're tired, you don't resign. If you're tired, you don't quit. You're tired, you rest. You take time, you rest. You go for vacation, you stay at home, you sleep a bit, you watch a movie, and then you get up and go again. And there's no giving up. You don't give up. You don't throw in the towel. There will be other reasons why you leave a place. It's not just being tired. So in terms of setting priorities, how to balance family sometimes, because, you know, family and personal life, they play a very critical role in how well you do at work. A very critical role in how well you do at work. So the early mentorship helps you to put these challenges that I've articulated on the slide in a manner that you are guided. I give you an example. A young man gets married, everything is fine and good. 9 months later, we clap. We have twins. All of a sudden, you find a very, very bright and vibrant young man. The career begins to go downhill. And a mentor will be able to spot that, to say, oh boy, what is the problem? You know the issue. Your issue is not that you have twins. Your issue is that you need to bring out a little more money out of your finances and get a help. You may not be able, I always tell young people, you know, when you give birth, don't think that the way you were spending your money before that time is how you continue to spend your money. You are deceiving yourself. Your pattern, your spend pattern changes immediately. And so what you need to do is to be able to say, how do I manage? And sometimes it means paying for certain services that will allow me to remain relevant to these children, to my wife, and to the environment that is looking up to me to continue to be to be that smart young man, it might mean that you will take part of your salary and pay for some of those things. Okay? A young lady wants to be very successful at work. A mentor is the person that says, come on, you may need to bring out 100,000 or 120 and get a driver so that you will catch some rest on your way to work and on your way back from work. Some of those things, they don't come very easily. And I'm telling you because the first time I got a driver, it was someone that told me that, hey, it's time you need to get a driver. And you know what? Because of the kind of work I do, it might just be that I cut 30 minutes nap or 15 or 20 minutes in between meetings. That alone is a big plus as far as your career is concerned. But those are the kind of early career challenges that mentorship, people that have passed through it before, are able to help you articulate properly. Now, let's move very quickly. Young people love tech. And I dare say that as young accountants, right? Accounting provides a very formidable background for us for anything that we want to do around the tech business. Tech is primarily built on data. Primarily built on data. And it's a beautiful thing because from day one in the university, or if you didn't go through the university route and you went straight to ICAN, it was always around data. Financial statement is what? Is data. The TB is what? Is data. 5 years time series analysis, data. Just think about it, quantitative analysis, all those things that we did to become what we are today. Data, 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 data driven. And we already have that opportunity. So it's for the young, smart, vibrant, chartered accountant, like the ones I'm speaking to today, it's never going to be a case of where data takes your place. No. If anything, it expands your horizon. It doesn't replace you at all. So it is then how well do we then embrace the relevant knowledge, the relevant, and I dare say quite a number of things are free today. Let me tell you, certificates are important, right? But what is more, in fact, you already have one certificate that can open multiple doors. Multiple doors. I don't want you to stop here, but assuming you just stopped at being a chartered accountant, you already have what will open multiple doors in your life. But when the door opens, what gives you the right seat in that place is the knowledge you have been able to acquire. Okay? Quite a lot is happening in our world. And if you are, I'm an oil and gas, I'm primarily an oil and gas person. And I tell you, if there's any news that drops in oil and gas, I will read it. If I'm scrolling through the newspaper and I see NUPRC X, NMDPRA said why, OPEC said why, I will pause and read it. You know why? It's knowledge. It might be what I will use in the next conversation. It might be the influence I need for the next thing I am about to do. And I tell people, sometimes it doesn't cost so much in terms of time. If it's a news, if it's an article, hardly will you see any article that is more than 7 minutes. Trust me, try it. Hardly will you see any article that is more than 7 minutes to read. So you read 7 minutes and you pick that knowledge, right? And you already have it. Nobody's going to take it away from you. Even if they take the newspaper from your hand, you already have the knowledge. You already know what was said in there. So young people need to invest in knowledge building. Knowledge building. Data analysis is one that I cannot stop talking about because I've seen it in a lot of places, in a lot of industries. It seems to be data really is at the heart. Almost everything we do, AI, generative AI, and all of that, is all the foundation of it is what? Is data. Is data mining. So as a young person, if you are not already very involved, whether you are looking to pivot, whether you are looking to get into tech or not, please, the things that you see on the screen are not just wish lists, especially in the middle of it. It is not a wish list. It's mandatory for you that you make investment and understand data analysis, business intelligence enabled by data, enabled by technology. Look, you don't have a choice. you really do not have a choice, right? You are still young. It means that what is going to keep happening is that the world will continue to be advanced and advanced and get more advanced in the tech space and all of that. So you can't afford to just stand aloof, right? And you already are a data-driven person. So you have the edge, you have the advantage. What we're saying now is how then can you take it to the next level? There's a very big FMCG company that is in Nigeria, one of the biggest. You know what? Their management accountant is not an accountant. He's a data scientist. The management accountant is a data scientist. He understands data. He is able to interpret data. He's able to see patterns and interpret patterns. That's what he does. You learned it in school. You learned it in the course of your professional study. So you have the advantage. You should be able to be at that level. And then if you think that the fin part of it, the financial part of it is where your interest is, all well and good. The digital finance, that's another big area. Some people think that, oh, there's a lot already happening there, but I dare say that we have not even scratched it. The mobile part of it is not well advanced in Nigeria at all. When you get to Kenya, you will understand what they're doing as far as that is concerned. So it's still a huge part where a lot can happen. Now, when it comes to the automation, and process improvement, there is hardly any real automation that happens without accountants, because for the most part, you're automating and you're automating financial information. And so you need somebody that has a good hang of it. Earlier in my career, there was a software engineer. He was always coming to me to ask questions around, okay, he's just a software engineer. So, but he needed somebody that understood the financial part of it for him to be able to make sense of what he was trying to push out in the market. So you are relevant, but you need to layer on top of what you have learned, sound and continue to improve on your digital literacy. Very important. Now, in terms of business, there are myriads of other things that an accountant can do, quite frankly, right? Consulting is easy, but you need to be able to have roots down for you to be able to say that I want to be able to consult. Data analysis, I've talked about it. Just think about any business. There is no person that is better positioned, and I'm not saying it because I'm an accountant or because we're here. Because at the heart of most of the business problems that we have at the early stages is the lack of financial literacy and being able to properly account for the income and expenditure. You find that is a major problem when you review SMEs. I used to work very closely with SMEs at some point. You will find that they don't have a good hang. Then next thing, they will now package a financial statement. That packaged financial statement puts them in trouble with the taxman. And you just find that their problem continues to spiral and continues to grow. But that big part of that problem, you have a hang of it. So what you are looking for is the technical side of the whichever business it is that you are looking to go into. So entrepreneurship, you are there. Data, finance, you are there already. But you must make investments in the technical aspects of whatever it is that you then decide to go into. I like the business intelligence part of the conversation because it is part of the things that are beginning to rule the world, right? And business intelligence, data analysis, all a bit tied together. Because what are leaders looking for when they try to review? When you go for business reviews and all of that, what are they saying? What kind of intelligence can I draw from what has happened this year, last year, and the year before? What kind of trend am I able to pick out of it that I can then leverage for further decision making along the line? Who else is better placed to give that kind of insight apart from the accountant? Okay. The accountant is also at the level where he understands risk. He's able to look at cost and benefits in a manner that is natural to you by training, much more than it will be to any other person. That's why sometimes they say we are like cold blankets or wet blankets, that we are very risk averse and things like that. But it is just the innate risk management nature of our training. So it puts us in a very vintage place for all manner of careers, all manner of opportunities, even as entrepreneurs. But we must be able to rise and we have the base. There is something always that needs to be on top of that base for us to be very successful. Now, this is a very critical slide that I'd like us to look at, right? You are a young accountant. You want to stay relevant. First things first, this accounting that you said you know, do you know it well enough? Do you know it well enough? Are you investing in continuous improvement? Thankfully, ICAN has got an opportunity for everybody to be able to improve. In fact, it's a requirement for certain things, But you must, as a person, say, I need to do X to improve my knowledge. I was telling myself there's an oil and gas MBA that they do. I am thinking how I'm going to pay and go and do that oil and gas MBA. You say, you're a partner, it doesn't work that way. For the next level kind of conversations that I want to have, there's a next level knowledge that I want to get. So you shouldn't be different for you. This accounting, do you know it? I have interviewed accountants too, and I've asked myself if they went to school. I asked somebody to tell me what final accounts for this kind of, there was a business, it's an agri business and all. I said, what will be the final accounts for this kind of business? She didn't know. And you begin to wonder, what kind of school, so you say you're an accountant, but you cannot tell me what the final accounts will be. What will it be? I mean, make a mistake so that I can correct you. So we must know this thing that we say is our core. If you don't know it, it begins to, it means that you cannot even start. Because when you have that fundamental, then the next thing I said you should do is to add data and technology literacy. Data and technology literacy. The third one is communication and influence, ability to, clearly explain and draw insights from data. The story behind the numbers, very important. You must make them come alive. The way you talk about the numbers tells me how well you understand them. And not just be gone are those days when you get into an environment and you see that one that is, scruffily dressed and is shy and timid in one box, and that's the accountant. No, gone are those days. I'm sure you saw our chair, and you can see how elegantly dressed she was, communicating clearly and passionately about what she believes in. That is the kind of accountant that we want to build. Influence. As in until you get into the room, you must get to the level where you are believable. You understand it, you are believable, and you communicate right. Then you talk about adaptability, judgment, ethics. You should be able to be at the level where your judgment will be called upon from time to time to say, what do you think? So what do you think about this thing? And then from an ethical standpoint, you are able to express your view in a manner that helps the organization, helps the business, assuming you're advising an external business, such that they can take the right decisions. And I dare say that over and above all of this, the accountant must also be at the level where he or she is building the right relationships. I contemplated whether to add it as number 5, and I said no, because it kind of circles everything together. You must be at the level where you do what? Where you have the right relationships. If I get into an organization and I'm talking to the finance people, it doesn't take time before I know the one that is involved, the one that understands, the one that is likely going to become a CEO someday, than the one that is focused on numbers and crunching the numbers and they're looking for prepared by client, prepared by this, all those kind of things. So the accountant must be that balanced individual, because your relationship cuts across everything in the organization. For you to make meaningful impact, you must be at the level where you have very strong relationships. When you get into an event, are you able to build 2-3 relationships out of that place? I'm an advocate of the right relationships, because it helps in no mean way. Young accountant, please, it's not all about the Excel. You must also learn how to build relationships over and above some of these things that we have said here. So as I bring everything together, right, I'll say, look, you need to take ownership of your career very early, very early. One sure way of taking ownership of your career is understanding that you will need mentors on your way and making every effort to select the right mentors for yourself. Okay? Sometimes when you select 1, 2 mentors, they will help you select the third and the fourth. Your fundamentals must be very strong before you begin to talk about differentiating or specializing, as some call it. But fundamentals, superb. He's an accountant par excellence. We can trust his figures. Let's even start from there. And then strategic mentorship, business development, commercial awareness. Gone are those days where the figures speak and the business is separate. The figure is integrated with the business. And you must be at the point where you are enabling business from a commercial standpoint. We don't even talk cost cutting anymore in the business world. We talk about cost optimization. Because that heart of let's cut this, let's cut that, it's the old accountant's heart. But you're looking at and saying, how much can I optimize by spending, can I get from spending X? Adopt a continuous learning mindset and protect your reputation and integrity. I cannot say that enough. If anything happens to this last one, every other thing, you see, we started with what? Fundamentals. Then we talked about what? Your reputation and integrity. If anything happens to that, you're gone. And you may be gone forever. You may just, relocate to somewhere and go and start doing Uber. Nothing must happen to your reputation. Nothing must happen to your integrity. Really, that's all you've got as an accountant. And nothing must happen to it. Well, I think it's time well spent already with you today. I'd like to close by saying that your qualification starts the journey. But your choices, your mentorship, and your skills determine how far you go. Once again, thank you very much, my able chair and our dear institute for the opportunity to be with us all today. I will take my seat now, and then we can maybe come back later to answer a few questions. So, Mr. Balogun, I hand it back to you. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Uzochukwu Obenu, FCA. Can you give me more of the claps? I'm seeing a lot here. He deserves more of it. So that's a beautiful one from Mr. Uzochukwu Obenu, FCA, a partner with KPMG. They have just spoken to us on a topic, mentorship in tech and business for young accountants. So we have been able to learn from Mr. Obienu that mentorship is a brain to pick, an ear to listen, and a push in the right direction. That's even a quote from John Crosby. He has equally mentioned the fact that mentorship assists with critical career decisions. It assists us to learn on the shoulder of someone who has a foresight. Then he has even equally told us what mentorship is not. It is not a bypass for hard work. It is not a friendship therapy. It is not, or it should not be one-sided. Then it is not generated advocacy, and mentorship is never permanent. Then he mentioned how we can find the right mentors. We have to be clear why we need a mentor. We have to look for relevance, not just seniority. We have to use our professional communities and online platforms. Then we equally have to approach with respect and intention. And we must equally be ready to add value. Then Mr. Obienu was able to distinguish between a role model, a sponsor, a coach, and a mentor. He said a role model will inspire through examples. A sponsor will influence to create opportunity. A coach will assist to improve skills and performance. Whereas a mentor will provide guidance, perspective, and a long-term career direction. So he mentioned that a typical youth should be ready to improve in his or her digital literacy. Then what are the skills that we need as a youth? So we need strong accounting and business fundamentals. We need data and technology literacy. We need good communication and good influence. Then we need adaptability, judgment, and ethics. In the final analysis, they gave us some recommendations, what we need to do in the process of looking for a very good mentor. So, Mr. Uzochukwu Ubien FCA, we thank you very much for that beautiful delivery. I want to ask, are you still with us? Can we take your questions now or at the end of the program? Are you still with us, sir?
I'm here. I must listen to my chair and the prof.
Good,
so
good.
Must be
good. So since we are still here, let us define your questions to the end of the program so that we can move on to the next presentation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to presentation number 2. This paper is to be delivered by the chairman of the committee herself. I mean, the chairman of the Young Accountant Development Committee, our own Dr. Njum Uman Uyeminam FCA, a member of our ICAN Governing Council, current Accountant General of Abia State. She's going to be talking to us on developing a leadership identity early in your career. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome Dr. Njum Uyeminam FCA to take up or to start our presentation. Madam, the floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Here we are. Uzo just took us through the mentorship pathway. Uzo, thank you very much. Our partner with KPMG. That's a young professional as well, who is also doing greatly well in the assurance sector. So our job here is always to bring to you those who can mentor you, those you can learn from, those you can look up to, and know that there is a pathway for you as a young professional. So today, I'll continue with developing a leadership identity early in your career. You've just listened to someone who developed a leadership identity right on time. And that's why even as a young person, he is not only a leader, he also has even a leadership title. Now, part of him, he has a leadership title. And so even me presenting myself to you today, I would say with all confidence that I have always had that leadership identity. I have always had that mindset that I am the leader. I have functioned as a leader, and most people who are leaders today have always seen themselves as leaders. Without a title, you take responsibility and you do what you have to do. So this moment, we are discussing developing a leadership identity early in your career, building your foundations for success. That's what we will be listening to right now. So, okay, so I'll take you through this this area. I'll give you an introduction, and I'll speak to the key components of a leadership identity and what strategies you can develop to have that leadership identity and the competencies young accountants require as leaders. Some common mistakes that you will sometimes find yourself in, and then you can also avoid those common mistakes. And here we go. So, like I also mentioned at the beginning of my at the opening session, I let you know that young accountants, we're not just building technical skills. And Mr. Uzo just talked about it, that when he gets into a place, he's able to say to himself, identify who is that person who is going to get to that apex in that place, who is going to actually be a leader, or someone who is going to like just stay crunching the numbers forever. So when you're building technical competencies all the time, yes, but are you developing your leadership capacity as well? So in referring to the leadership identity, it's that person that sees his or herself as a leader, someone who can be seen and be trusted with responsibility. Can people around you trust you with responsibility? Can they say they can leave this assignment to you? Can your title leader at work say, just look at you, and then just with an eye contact, the way your parents will look at you with an eye contact, and then you can know what they want you to do. So at the workplace, can your CEO, can your partner, can your manager, can they look up to you and like say, oh, and then you get what they want you to do at almost immediately. So are you building that influence around you? Are you that person that no one can, they know that when you are there, everything is fine? So the leadership identity is not about the position, it is about who you are becoming as a young professional accountant. Who are you becoming? Are you becoming that leader? Are you becoming that one who is going to stand out amongst many? You need to ask yourself some questions. And what are these questions you can ask yourself? Am I someone people can rely on? Can I rely on you? Can your departmental head, can your partner, can your CEO, can whoever rely on you and say, oh, I've left these assignments with this person and I'm sure I can go to sleep with this person? Can people trust your judgments? Can they trust your judgment? Or would they say, oh, I know if you this one, no follow up. People will always say, follow who know road. Follow who know road. Some people will keep following someone and say, oh, because I know say this person know road. So are you that person that people can also follow, knowing that you know the pathway? And when you say stand here, everyone can actually truly know that there's no danger standing there. So do you take responsibility or you avoid it? So if you actually want to take up the leadership identity, you should be ready to take up responsibility all the time and never be avoiding it or finding tactics to stay away from responsibility. Do I influence others positively? Think about it. My influence on the people around me, is it positive or is it negative? Your leadership identity is built through consistent behavior over time, not one big action. It's not because you acted a leader yesterday or you played one drama to be a leader yesterday. That's not what makes you a leader. That leadership identity is that consistent behavior that is able to answer all these questions that I have listed here. The question of responsibility taking, the question of consistency in behavioral approach, the question of not avoiding responsibility at any time, influencing people positively. That has to be a pattern for leadership. Now, for that leadership identity, what are the components of a leadership identity? So, we talk about self-awareness. Are you aware of yourself? Are you aware of your environment? Are you aware of how other people's behaviors influence your own behavior? Can you actually behave independently well? Even in adverse, when other people are coming with their adverse behaviors, attitudes, emotions, are you aware of your own self? Do you understand yourself? Do you understand your strengths? Do you understand your weaknesses? Do you know your values? Are you able to keep to your values and your motivations? If you are aware of your strength in area of yourself, in area of your strength, what you can do very well, what you cannot do very well, your values and your motivations, it will keep you focused as a leader. It will keep you to be that kind of leader that is that leader that will actually someday, sometime, earn that title that is called a leader's title. So your leadership identity involves you knowing who you are. You can't say, I am a leader, or I have this leadership mindset without being able to say, I'm strong in this area. This area isn't me, but I can leverage on other resources around me in the areas of my weaknesses. Because when you are aware of yourself, your weaknesses don't become a challenge anymore for you, because despite your weaknesses, you've found ways to overcome your weaknesses. You are working on your weaknesses. I'm someone who also I've identified weaknesses over time. Before, as a younger professional accountant, I was deep into technical matters. But after a while, I realized that being deep into technical matters was becoming a weakness for me. And I wasn't going to get to the next stage and the next levels if I do not begin to go beyond technicalities and develop the leadership attributes and behaviors and skills. So I began to do my technical skills, but then pick up leadership skills, business skills, managerial skills that could stand me out and would let me grow like other people are also growing wherever they are. So at some point in time, your technical skills could actually be that's the motivating factor for you. It can actually also be your weakness. It can be that threat to your career growth. And there are other things that could also, your emotions could be your overreactive, being overreactive emotionally could be your weaknesses. So identify who you are, know yourself, and work on yourself. Be that better mirror, build a better mirror of the kind of person you want to be. So when we're talking about leadership identity, we're talking about viewing yourself in a glass and saying, this is who I want to be. I am not yet there, but I'm going there. And these are people who are looking like what I want to be in the future. That is what Mr. Uzochukwu just told you about mentorship, looking at other people who have gone ahead of you. The things you couldn't have built up in your home, in your family. Your family brought you up to some extent. But when it comes to the business world, to the professional world, your family may not be there. Most of us, our family aren't there. In my own family, and I know that many of us in our own families, you may be the first accountant or even the first chartered accountant in your family. So in my own family, of course, when I wanted to go into accounting, everybody was like, well, no, this is not what we do here. But that was what my own passion was, because I had also seen young women at that time when I was a child who I could look in, I could say, oh, this is the mirror I want to be like when I become an adult like these people. So, and then values. What values are you pursuing? Are you pursuing ethics? Are you pursuing integrity? Are you pursuing virtues? Or are you just that anyhow person? What values are you pursuing in your mindset, in your behavior, in what you want to pursue in life? So those things are very important as a professional. And what are your motivations? All this will help you know who you are and then help you identify the kind of network you should always find yourself in. Again, one of also the key components of leadership identity is vision. You need to have a clear vision of what you want to achieve. What exactly do you want to achieve as a leader? That vision must be there for you. I want to achieve this. This is my vision. This is where I'm going to. That keeps you really focused. So have a clear vision of what you want to achieve. So many professionals believe leadership is something that comes later in life. It doesn't come later in life. It's now that you begin to see that future that you want to become. You want to become a manager. You want to become a director. You want to become a boss. You want to become an accountant general. You want to become whoever you want to become. The truth is that leadership identity is formed early. It is not later. So it's you having that vision now that will bring you to where you want to be in that future time. Who are you becoming as a professional is already being shaped by your attitude today. The vision you have for tomorrow will help you build a kind of attitude today. The vision you have for tomorrow, what you want to achieve in your career tomorrow or in the next 5 years will form your habits today. Because if you know you want to get to a pathway tomorrow, your habits will align to where you are going to tomorrow. That is when you sit down and you think and you take deliberate thoughts to get to the right place in the future. Now, your vision, if you have where you're going to in your career, it will help you respond to pressure. Negative pressures will come, positive pressures will come. However, because you know where you're going to, when negative pressure comes, you will not derail. So, who you are becoming as a professional, it's very important for you to think about it. It will mold your attitude. It will mold your habits. It will mold how you respond to pressure. Another thing it will mold is how you treat people. Because how you treat people will determine, are you going to be a leader tomorrow? Today, I work with a leader who, all of us who walk around him, know that he cares for people. He cares for his state. He cares for the well-being of his state. He's not faking it. He's truly passionate about what he believes in and how he makes sure that everyone around him is fine. He's so focused and so faithful to that calling of making people and his state and the people around him, the assignment he has taken up, he drives it with a lot of passion, a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication. That is the vision he has always had. He's had it. He started this race a long time ago. And of course, he went through 3 different elections and he didn't get it. And at 4th try, and for 16 years after, he was able to get to become the executive governor of the state where I work now, Abia State. That is a man who has vision. He knew his people needed help, and he was very confident that he could see in himself the kind of leader that could turn around things in his state. So that is vision. 16 years ago, this vision was already there before he actioned it that 16 years ago, but it didn't come to reality. Money, resources, discouragement came, but he remained focused. So that's just an example of you building up a future, a vision now, and keep pushing on that future because it affects how you treat people. And like I said, I'm happy to work with someone who treats people really good and wants the best out of anyone. And how you handle your responsibility. You know, I've talked about responsibility in these our sessions so many times. So by the time leadership title comes, your leadership character has already been formed. So that is what the vision is all about. I remember that I worked at, there's one of my CEOs that I worked with quite more my years in my career. I worked with the CEO in different companies for like 15 years. She would always say to us that you do not become a manager. You don't get the title of a manager until it is obvious that you have become a manager. You are behaving, you are acting like a manager. You can't even become a CEO until you are already behaving like a CEO. So you just find yourself becoming a leader because you have always been a leader all the time. So this is now the time to see yourself in that vision. And also vision also has to do with communication, ability to articulate your ideas and inspire others. You need to work on that side. So you have that leadership mindset. You see yourself as a leader. You behave like a leader. And so you have to communicate properly. You have to let your ideas, you have to make your ideas very clear, articulate them such that others around you will be inspired. So these are things that you need to build up, are components that you should be seeing in yourself. Build up yourself in those skills, in these areas, so that your leadership attributes and your leadership personality you just find that someday you are already that leader that should be given that title for leadership anyway. So influence, and as a leader, are you influencing people positively? Are you influencing your organization positively? Are you standing out in your organization? You need to build relationships and influence others to achieve common goals. Common goals are essential. You should be thinking about the common goals of people around you if you have to be that leader that's you want to show that you have a leadership identity. You should identify yourself as a leader first before others identify you. If you're not working in the line of leadership, if you're not behaving leadership, I don't know how you expect other people to identify you. So identify yourself as a leader. That is what we're talking about this evening. I have to identify myself as a leader first, then other people will naturally align with my leadership capability. Strategies for developing a leadership identity. You need to learn to take up new challenges. When you're asked to come and take up a challenge, are you complaining or are you happy to take up a new challenge? Every opportunity I have had for leadership has been a call to me to take up, oh, there's a new challenge. I see you to be the one to be there. Mr. Ozochukwu also told us one. He told us one. He told us about one of his mentors saying there was an opportunity coming up and it would be good to catch into it. And so when that opportunity came up, because he already had prior information from his leader, he quickly launched into it. If his mentor hadn't hinted him, and if he hadn't gotten that time, he may have dodged that opportunity or avoided it. And today he's happy that he took up that responsibility at that time. So when challenges come, when areas of high callings come, please do not step back. Just take it. I have had callings to higher callings. Many of you, I don't know if you know, but if you do not know, I was not in the public sector before I joined the public sector as accountant general. I was also headhunted from the private sector. I used to be a CFO in insurance, and I spent a lot of my career time in insurance as a CFO. And sometime, because I had that leadership identity in me, I was called to come to become the accountant general of my state, someone who had not worked in the public service. But of course, all the skills, all the competencies, everything I had gathered in the private sector qualified me and made me able to take up that challenge. Because even in the private sector, I had been called on to come to take up various assignments that seemed bigger than me. But because each time I'm called to that higher calling, I just say to myself, oh, there must be something that they are seeing in me. I may not be seeing it in me, but if they believe that I can do this thing, then I need to go. And then I'll also think again, I'll also ask myself, if I find someone else doing that stuff, and the person is actually doing it well and is building good reputation for it, will I be happy that I didn't take up that offer? So I ask myself those things. So if someone else goes there and the person is enjoying the sweetness in it, will I be happy that I never took it up? So those are questions you should ask yourself. So please, young accountants, young professionals, be always ready to take up that big challenge. Volunteer for new projects and responsibilities. Of course, I am always ready to. We are many leaders and people who have volunteered for new projects, new responsibilities. Don't shy away, take it. You are able to do it, you'll get there. So build relationships again, network with professionals in your field, seek mentorship, and learn from role models. These are all the kind of relationships that you can build. Build networks with professionals. Invest in personal development. We've had the first facilitator, Mr. Obienu. He kept telling us about, he said he wants to even go for one course that he has to pay his own money. And somebody will ask him, yeah, but you work in KPMG now. They're supposed to pay for you. It's not, but companies have their policies about what they will do for their staff and people working with them, and they have what they will not do. So you cannot go and tweak policies in your company only because of your own favor, or say, oh, if your company is not going to do it for you, you're not going to do it for yourself. Who are you doing it for yourself or for someone else? So sometimes you have to pay. You have to pay to develop yourself. You have to pay the price. It may not be cash price. It may be time price. It may be sacrifices. It may be you serving someone else for no pay, just for you to develop yourself. Some people will say, oh, this person is too harsh on me. But the person is making waves. So maybe it's that harshness that brought the person to that level. So learn to humble yourself, develop yourself, whatever it costs, whatever the price of whatever price you have to pay to develop yourself, pay that price. Invest in personal development, either with money, either with sacrifices, either with time, resources, either with serving other people, whatever it is, invest in development and you will really get developed. Develop emotional intelligence. I thought in emotional intelligence is that self-awareness context that I also have spoken. The emotional intelligence is wide, is big, but you must be able to like be aware of your environment, aware of other people, how other people behave, and how their behaviors affect you, and how you behave, and how your behavior affects you and affects other people, and just make sure that emotionally you can understand that you must be productive no matter whatever the emotions are. Your emotions must always lead you to productivity for yourself and the people and the common productivity of the environment that you find yourself in. If your emotions are negatively impacting on your organization, on the entity where you find yourself, or negatively eroding on you, my dear, just know that you are not emotionally intelligent. Your emotional intelligence must make you better and productive in every area of your endeavors. Understand and manage your emotions. Managing emotions is important. Many of us don't know how to manage emotions. You just go, you say it anyhow, you shout anyhow, you behave anyhow. The day you wake up in your house and you feel like you don't want to go to work, you stay in your house and say, I don't have a feeling of going to work. I don't even feel like going to work. That's what I need to tell off that boss this morning. When I get to that one, I'll go and give them a piece of my mind. You can give a piece of your mind with emotional intelligence. Empathize with others. So in networking, you have to empathize with others so that you are building, because a leader cannot be a leader alone. If you're not empathetic to the needs of other people, they will not allow you lead them. They will not even give you the opportunity. So empathy has to be there. That's part of emotional intelligence. And then you have to always learn to seek and learn to handle feedback. Seek feedback and learn to handle it. Don't just say with lip service, I am learning, I like feedback. Give me feedback. You call your team and say, give me feedback. Or you go to your boss and say, please, can you give me a feedback? And when the feedback gets to you, you can't handle it. You must be ready to handle feedback. Sometimes people say to you, oh, please, I want to tell you something, but I hope that you can manage it. I just hope that you can manage this thing. Promise me this, if I'm able to tell you this. And so when you promise them those kind of things, you should be able to keep to what you have promised. So learn to handle feedback and get feedback and learn to handle it. You know, some of us, sometimes we young professionals, sometimes they are talking and you're not listening to what the other person is telling you. They are talking and you can talk and talk. Somebody is trying to say something and you're not even pausing. Me now, I'm talking because I'm the one that has the floor. I'm the facilitator. It's my time to talk. I'm actually supposed to talk and talk until I pause. But some of us just talk the way I'm talking. Meanwhile, somebody else, you're supposed to be in a conversation with someone. So in developing a leadership identity, a leader always takes feedback, and a leader is always ready to learn how to handle that feedback and correction. So if it is times where you need to be corrected, take that correction, take it with all pride and no arrogance and no attitude. Take it with all sense of dignity, because that is what will make you a better person. So ask for feedback from your mentors, from your peers and supervisors. Learn from your failure. Failure shouldn't make you withdraw. Failure shouldn't make you run away. Rather, failure should make you a better person. So use setbacks as opportunities for growth. Many of us have also had setbacks. We've had failures. Some of us have lost jobs in the past, and we know why we lost those jobs in the past, and we can't allow those things happen to us anymore. Some of us have made mistakes that have cost us so much, or God delivered us from those mistakes. And you know that that shouldn't happen to me again. So that is what we are saying. Feedback and learning how to handle it positively. Your feedback should make you better and not worse off. I hope I'm communicating. Okay, so leadership competencies for young professional accountants. What competencies do you need? Strategic thinking. Don't think anyhow. Let your mindset think strategically. Ability to think critically and strategically. Whatever that means to you. I have the time I need to finish, but go and dwell on this point. Collaboration. Ability to work effectively with other people. You are not an island of your own. Some people will say, I do not have friends. That's why I don't connect with people. I want to be on my own. You want to be on your own. You cannot be a leader being on your own. You cannot be a leader. If you want to be a leader in title someday, sometime, if you want to have that leadership identity, a leadership identity is not a sole runner. A leadership identity is one who collaborates for the common good of organization, wherever you find yourself. Communication, I talked about communication again in the components of the leadership. They are able to communicate complex ideas and you're able to do well with them. Clearly, you communicate complex ideas and you communicate it very clearly. It is very, very important. Other competencies that you should be able to develop as a young professional is problem solving. You know, so many people, I've met so many people that when you ask them questions, when you tell them contribute to this discussion, they'll say, I don't know anything you say. No, you should know, you should be able to solve problems now. Your boss comes to you and says, oh, we have this thing to do. Please, can you come and help us solve this problem? You should be able to solve the problem. So please, it's just all right. And then problem solving. Don't be that one that every time they come to you, you don't have an answer. You must have an answer to solving the problems. And whatever little contributions you have, please contribute. Today we have a lot of AI options that can also help you contribute. At least give you some kind of idea. When you are blank, go and Google, go and search. The internet is there. AI products are there to help you contribute answers. Of course, you're not supposed to go and do plagiarism or just copy verbatim, but it can guide you and help you to be that one who is able to contribute to solving the problems of the moment in your workplace and in your business. Adaptability, ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Circumstances will always change, but you should be able to adapt. You can see how the whole world, businesses adapted, even in the time of COVID. Many of us were here during the time of COVID. Even schools, churches, everybody adapted to the new situation at that time. And a lot of the things that we're doing now virtually, remotely, now were skills and competencies that were built for business and the world during the time of COVID. So we should be able to adapt all the time to changing circumstances. If your workplace brings up major changes, you should be ready to change. Anything the profession brings a new change, you should be ready to change and adapt to the new times. Not to be so many people complain. Once they just see one change, they say they are so reluctant to change, resist change. No, a leadership identity will not allow you to be that change resistant. No, you must always be ready to adapt to positive changes. So that's very important for us as we begin to see ourselves to be leaders of tomorrow. Common mistakes young professionals may make, and I know that those of us here today will don't make those mistakes. Waiting for a title before acting like a leader. No, just act that leader now. I didn't have a leadership identity when I began to act like a leader. But now today, and for some years now, I have had some title as a leader, but I didn't wait until I became a leader, that title leader, to act as a leader. You have to think leadership. Thinking leadership is about authority, not service. There's leadership in service. So don't wait until you have that mantle of authority to begin to flaunt as a leader. You are a leader anytime, anywhere, when you decide that you want to be a leader. Another common mistake that young professionals make is ignoring character and focusing only on technical skills. So you're buried on that your laptop every day, and you're thinking of crunching the numbers, checking how valid academical prowess is on your job, technicality, all the number, everything. Is it fine? Is it tricky? Are they just okay? And they are not, and then you lose character. Anybody is talking to you and looking at them, and so what is it? I'm like, let me people, you time wasters. No, they are not time wasters. You need to also build character. Don't ignore character. Build character. Avoiding responsibility. Young people have the common line. I know we can't die. You know, be my papa business. Just when you, as those are common mistakes young people make. But the ones who become leaders don't make that kind of mistakes. They take responsibility. Being more concerned about being liked than being respected. So each time you want everybody to like you, it means that you're swinging with it. You're swinging with it however way they want you to go. So when you want everyone to be the likable person than being the one who is respected. So those are common mistakes. It's good to be liked, but also make sure that you earn respect. So they shouldn't like your likeness should not be because you have no values. Anyone that they bring your table, you are there. Good, you are there. Bad, you are there. So everybody likes you for being there for all manner of things. That you identify with all manner of things, the commonly and the uncommonly. No, you must have your values, your motivations, and that will keep you as a respected person. Leadership identity is built on character and not popularity. Because when a leader is being sought after, everyone will look for that person who has that character. Do you have the character for leadership? So leadership identity is built on character and not popularity. So you need to reflect on these questions. I wish we could discuss how do people currently see you at work? It's a question that I would like us to discuss maybe later. How do they see you at work currently? You have to ask yourself these questions. If your colleagues were to describe you, what would they say? And then what leadership habits do you need to start building today? What habits do you need to unlearn? These are very important. So what are your action plan? Set leadership goals, identify areas of development, and set specific goals for yourself. Seek mentorship. I'm not going to talk about mentorship again. We have dwelt largely on it at the first session. And then whenever opportunities come for you to take up leadership roles, please take up leadership roles all the time. Never run away from them. Leadership roles are good for you and I. Find even the opportunities to take leadership roles and volunteer yourself all the time. Reflect on your progress. Am I doing well? When I took up that leadership role, how well did I do it? Ask yourself, personalize the questions to yourself, have a self-reflection to yourself, regularly reflect on your progress and adjust your plan. So you have a plan, but your plan can be adjusted as you progress. So these are action plans that you can work on as a leader, as one who is developing a leadership identity. And my closing thoughts would be, leadership is not something you switch on one day. It is something you grow into daily. You grow into being a leader. It's not something you switch on. One day you just switch on to be a leader. No, you just find yourself there someday because you already have identified yourself as a leader. And because you have internalized yourself as a leader, someone tomorrow will come and identify you and then give you that opportunity to be in that position. It's called that leader's position. But already you yourself, you already have your leadership identity. You are wearing that ID card of a leader. So when you wear your identity card, your identity card, you work in this company, XYZ company, and your name is this, you work in this department, you are wearing the identity card of a leader. That is leadership identity. Identifying yourself as a leader early in your career. Your leadership identity is being shaped right now, and I hope you're ready to shape it and carry it on. Deliberate, you have to be deliberate, intentional about the leadership identity. By now, by how you show up to work, by how you treat people, how you handle pressure, by the choices you make when no one is watching you. So what are those choices that young professional accountants should make? Some of those choices, I won't go into them today, but I can tell you, you have to learn how to speak, how to talk, how to dress, how to look every time. It's part of the leadership identity. What you wear, because the way you dress is the way people address you. It's not written in this, it's not recorded in this slide, but it is part of the leadership identity. You must learn to dress properly. You must learn to not to come into any place with an odor, with a body odor, with people wondering who came in here. Anytime you move around, they can smell some offensive odor. No. To have a leadership identity, you must dress even like the president of the nation. So when people want to look for someone who will be a leader, they are not only seeing you can have all the character. If you're not looking good, they won't give you that leadership opportunity because you're already shabby in looking. You're not sharp, and they don't want you to identify. Nobody wants to identify with such personalities. So those are part of the things, the choices you make, the choices about how you dress. Because when you dress well, when you look good outside, when your appearance looks okay, people will want. You have made the right choices. And people will want to give you opportunities to come up, to speak to them, to do things for them, to do things for their organizations. So developing a leadership identity takes time and takes effort, but it is essential for career success. By focusing on self-awareness, vision, communication, and influence, you can build a stronger foundation for leadership. Start becoming the leader you want to be known for today and not tomorrow. Develop self-awareness, vision, and communication skills. Seek feedback, take on new challenge, and build relationships. Focus on leadership competencies like strategic thinking and collaboration. Create an action plan and regularly reflect on your progress. That's the summary of all that we have said. Leadership is a journey, not a destination. Start building your leadership identity today. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step today. Keep doing it, and someday you'll find out that you're there. So thank you for listening, and God bless you.
Thank you.
So I hand over to the moderator of the movement. Thank you.
Thank you, our dear chairman, for that thought-provoking presentation. Let us give her more of the thumb up for Dr. Njum. That's a beautiful presentation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me just do a recap of what our chairman has told us. The topic is developing leadership identity early in your career. So she has been able to tell us what is leadership identity. Are you someone people can rely on? Can people trust your judgment? Do you take responsibility or you avoid it? Do you influence others positively or negatively? She has equally given us the components of the leadership identity. Number one, self-awareness. So what is your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your values? What are your motivations? Do you have a clear vision? Do you communicate well? How do you articulate ideas? How do you influence others? Madam Ujum has mentioned the strategies for developing leadership identity. This includes taking new challenges, building relationships. You must network with your co-professionals, investment in personal development. You develop your emotional intelligence, then you seek feedback and learn how to handle feedback and corrections. She has equally mentioned the various leadership competencies for young accountants. Number one, strategic thinking, collaboration, communication, problem solving, and adaptability. In the last part of the lecture, she told us the common mistakes made by young professionals. She gave us some reflection questions and also mentioned the action plans. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let us give her more of the thumb up for the beautiful delivery. So, Madam Chairman, we thank you for that delivery. I have some announcements before we move on to the final paper. We are expected to book our attendance via the link that is being shared. So make sure you register your attendance while this webinar is still on. Then we are going to send all the 3 papers to all the participants at the end of the presentations. So before we go into the 3rd paper, I think I have 2 questions. Mr. Obio, are you still there, sir? Mr. Uzojuku Obienu. Mr. Uzojuku, are you still there, sir?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you very much, sir. So from the question and answer chat box, I think there are 2 questions for you. The first one is from Chigozie Obioa. She said, give me a guidance on seeking for mentors in any environment, especially the investment banking industry. So if you want to know how to seek for mentors in the investment banking industry environment. Then the second question is from Babafemi Peters. How do I assess courses on data analytics and business intelligence? How do I assess courses on data analytics and business intelligence? Then the third question is just a comment. It's not really a question from Kafayat, Ali Kafayat. She said, is the webinar meant for only young accountants? And I will react to that. It's not meant for only young accountants. We are all learning. Especially accountants are learning. I always make jest of lawyers that they say they are learning. I say accountants are still learning, but lawyers are learning. So we are still learning. So this opportunity is meant for everybody, no matter the age. So I will leave Mr. Ozojuku Obiana, FCA, partner from KPMG, to give response to the earlier 2 questions. You're welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Selecting a mentor or mentors from the investment banking industry. What we tried to do earlier was provide a general overview on the things that you may seek to, things that may be important to you that you may want to get out of a mentor. Now, I don't know where you are, at what level you are, but the first question, I can only give you things that will point you to the kind of mentors that you may want to reach out to. And bear in mind that the mentor is not necessarily the role model. When you talk investment banking, there are names that will probably pop up in your mind. It may not necessarily be those people. And I don't know where you are in your career journey, because where you are in your career journey also plays a very critical role in selecting who do you need at that time, as far as your career journey is concerned. So where you are, very important. Where you see yourself, is investment banking a platform to pivot for you, or are you looking to go the whole 9 yards and get to the very, very top in that particular field? That's an important consideration. Okay. You must also ask yourself who are currently accessible to me. Now, you can be mentored from outside of your jurisdiction, maybe Nigeria or wherever you are dialing in from. But personally, I prefer the mentorship that has some physical touch to it. But mind you, all the platforms that we have, there's so many platforms that provide some form of mentorship. have some people that reach out to me on LinkedIn, right? But it is to the extent that I go there. First of all, I have to be there to see what you are asking or what you are asking, requesting of me at that time as a mentee. And then I will be able to then respond according to my timing. But personally, like I said, I prefer to have some touch to it, physical touch to it. But you can also leverage those kind of platforms, and see who is the person that is looking like that person that has what I need. You must be clear. Remember, I think the third slide that I put up there, it has critical things that you should be concerned about. And it's always tied to the timing. Where am I? Where am I? That's why sometimes you go for interviews and they ask you, where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10 years? Those questions should not be things that you prepare for and come and, okay, I've crammed what I need to say. You must be clear about it. And that clarity, that initial clarity is what then helps. I mean, Dr. Jim spoke about that clarity from the get-go. In the first few years, there might be some, first 2 years, sometimes you're trying to find what you really love. But once you are able to find that and you are beginning to build, that's where you then are able to clarify what you are looking for in that mentorship. What I'm looking for now may not be the same as what I was looking for 5 years. Definitely not the same with what I was looking for 5 years ago. It's changed, and I reckon that it will continue to change depending on where we are on our career journey. So it's difficult to say, hey, meet this person. Sometimes even your beliefs count, because there's an alignment from a belief system that works well when you're selecting a mentor, right? If there's a disconnect in belief between you and the person, so the person may ask you that you can do it this way, but your belief system does not allow you to do those kind of things, then it becomes very difficult. But if there's an alignment from the belief system, then it's easier because we are kind of aligned. And I mean, you must not, I've not used religion, I've used belief system. Because it must not always be that the person must be of the same faith with you, but there must be a base from where both of you can operate. What the person calls bad must be something you believe to is bad. Let me be clear. What the person thinks is okay, it must be something that, so the person cannot believe in, for instance, settlement, and you do not. There's already a mismatch in the way that you people will relate. So all of that will play a role in terms of who do you finally choose, or the people you choose, because I also don't believe it's one person that will help mentor on your career journey. I hope I've been able to help, because I cannot there are so many investment bankers that I know, but I don't know to what extent you have access as well, because access is also important, so that there will be guidance, right? So data analysis and business this is the knowledge here has been super democratized in a way that even the easiest and the simplest place to go to is YouTube. Let's even start from there. The simplest and the easiest before you go to the Udemy's and the rest of them. But YouTube, let's even say, what do you pick up? The same way you watch the reels, the comedy reels and all of that. Why don't you for I mean, you will still do your Instagram, but maybe if you do 1 hour Instagram, do 1 hour, 30 minutes on the reels that are around data analysis, that are around business intelligence. There are myriads, there are so many courses just on the internet. I'm not even talking academies. I'm not talking about those formal arrangements where you get into schools and enroll. But you can, in fact, Harvard has a number of free courses. Harvard on data analysis is free. It's not paid for, unless when you want the certificate, then they will ask for a certain amount of money. And it's not only Harvard. There's so many other prime universities that give you the opportunity to learn some of these things for free. So I would say, just first of all, put data analysis courses on the internet and you will see what will come out. You will see, you'll be surprised at the number of free options, free data analysis courses that you will come up on the internet for you to read, for you to learn, for you to simulate. Some of them even have ability for you to simulate in certain scenarios and put yourself like in a real life situation. So it's so democratized that it's not even, it's a case of which one do you want to do. And then the last comment, I mean, is we're all learning. And I listened intently as my chairman was speaking, and I've picked some points myself. And we will listen to Prof as well if he's around, and we'll pick some other points, and we'll continue to learn. We must embrace a life of learning, lifelong learning. You just don't stop. I remember the day you stop learning, you plateau for a while, and you begin to diminish. So I hand it over back to you, my moderator, and I hope I've been able to help. But if I have not, maybe you can reach out, and then we'll see how we can take that forward. There are so many names there, but I don't know who you've got reached to.
Thank you very much, sir. You have actually addressed the questions asked by the two participants, but there is a last one here. Maybe just briefly comment on it. From Wana Obong, he said he doesn't work in the Big Four. And because of this, it is difficult for him to get a mentor. So he wants you to suggest the best method of getting a mentor. Thank you, sir.
So let's, it has absolutely nothing to do with who is in a Big Four and who is not in a Big Four. Some of the people that I mentor are not in Big Four firms at all. At all. So it's not even a question of Big Four or no Big Four. How many people can possibly work in a Big Four? Where KPMG is the biggest Big Four in Nigeria, we're at maybe 1,800. So that cannot account for the number of accountants in Nigeria. So even if you multiply that by 4, what will it give us? Maybe 6,000 stuff or so. But the point to make is that, look, be clear on what you want, right? And that the person is a Big Four partner or what, senior manager or director, doesn't say anything about whether the person is the right mentor for you. The right mentorship starts from, I wish I could beam that slide, but I've committed to sharing the slides. You will see the things that we listed out, if you recall, in I think the second slide or the third slide. The kind of things you should be looking out for. It is the person that has those things. Critical amongst them is, who has traveled my path before and traveled successfully? Who has traveled my path before and traveled successfully? That is a critical point to note. And then if you then have reached, that makes it better. Sometimes you could be introduced. Somebody introduces you to somebody that will help you. And there's somebody that I like to reach. I like the person's journey, but I don't have the direct relationship with the person. But the person's friend is we have a mutual friend. Interestingly, the mutual friend, although very big and one in the world in Nigeria, it's not the mentor that I'm looking for the specifics that I am keen on getting, but his friend. So I am saying, please introduce me to this your friend. There are areas of alignment or areas of possible alignment that I'm looking for between me and him. There are things that I see there that I want to learn, and it's critical for my next level. So there are a lot of shades to this, and please disabuse your mind that if it's accounting, it has to be Big Four. It's good if it's. I'm happy working with KPMG, and I'm glad for the opportunity to have been trained through the Big Four system, but does not say anything about what you eventually become and how you pattern your life and growth. I mean, our chair is an insurance person, but today she's doing something in the government. Its leadership, is learning, is mentorship. I mean, it can show up in any way, really. So keep an open mind and don't restrict yourself in any way.
you very much, sir, for that beautiful response. Madam Ujum, there's a question for you from Victoria Wadia. So she said, how do I manage leadership skills and mindset and perform on my job as a leader without being seen as someone trying to steal the spotlight? Let me repeat the question. How do I manage leadership skills and mindset and perform on my job as a leader without being seen as someone trying to steal the spotlight? So that's a question for you, ma, from Victoria Ward.
Okay, Vicky, that's a very intriguing question. It's almost like one being in a dilemma. I want to do good, but I also don't want to be misinterpreted in doing good. So identify with the leadership identity. It's just like an ID card. You are ready. It's like you are always ready to offer help, to take responsibility. You are always ready to support, because one of the competencies is collaboration. I talked about collaboration. Offer your leadership, offer whatever you have to offer as a team player, as a collaborator, not as someone who wants to boss around other people or boss around the one who already has the title as a boss. So because there's always somebody who has the title, who has the authority. You do not have the authority, you do not have the title, you do not have that positional place in that entity at that point in time, but you are a collaborator to leadership. I tell people that I'm a very good follower. At some point, I didn't even realize I was a leader. I just said, I always follow, and I follow leaders and I'm supporting them. So let your leader know that you are not a threat to their position in the way, but you are trying to support them and make their jobs easier. When you offer your services from that frame of mind, from that framework, you will not be clashing with trying to struggle that position of the person. You don't just go and sit on the person's table or seat or do the thing before the person. You go back to the person, I want to do things like this. Am I okay? I think I can help in this area. I hope you're fine with it. Anytime you want to, you tell your boss, anytime you need me, I'm here. Your boss calls on you. Each time your boss knows that you are reliable, the person won't think you want to take the person's job. And sometimes they actually will think you want to take their job. True. I've been in that kind of situation, but it's only temporal. It's a temporal situation. When your boss feels that you have a strong leadership identity, sometimes your leadership identity is so strong, even you can't help it. It's just there's somebody else who is the boss somewhere, feels threatened about it. But honestly, when you bring yourself as a collaborator every time, you are not quarrelsome, you are bringing up emotional intelligence to the things that you are doing, you are aware of how that your boss is seeing you, your boss or that leader is seeing you as someone who is a threat to his own position. You are emotionally intelligent, because this question is a question coming out of emotional intelligence. That self-awareness that this person is thinking this way, but I am not that way. It will make you make more efforts, and it will make you become your real person. And over time, the person will know the real you and will mellow down. I have gone through those phases. And I didn't even bother. When I heard this person is behaving like that, they've told the person you take the person's job, I'll just laugh and say, I'm not taking anybody's job. I'm so happy with this, my own job. My own job is even so overwhelming. I'm very, very content with this. And over time, the person, whoever feels strengthened, begins to understand me and understand that I am not a threat, but I am a collaborator. I'm trying to collaborate all the time. And collaboration is all I know. I am not trying to take anybody's job. So just keep doing what you need to do. Drive your values, drive your focus, drive your decisions where you want to get to, and don't go into the cocoon. because someone is challenging it that, oh, no, you want to take their seat. You know, you don't want to take their seat. So just keep doing what you want to do. And until the person begins to feel free with you. When the person begins to feel free with you, someday, it may take some time, but just keep doing that right thing. And someday, sometime, everybody will be fine. And you too will be happy that you patiently went through that process. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for that well-thought-out response to the question from the last speaker. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to the third paper for today. Our professor is very much around. Before he goes into his paper, let me just do a short citation. This last paper will be taken by no other person than Professor Emmanuel Onodia, FCA, a professor of accounting and taxation from Federal University, Nokoja. So he's going to be speaking to us on the topic, potential effects of 2025 tax reforms on the Nigerian political system, the role of chartered young accountants. So Professor Emmanuel Onoja is a distinguished academic. He's also an accountant and a consultant in the areas of taxation, forensic accounting, audit, and assurance. He has over 53 publications and is a fellow of the following institutes: ICAN, CITN, CIFA UK, and also a CISA. For career experience, he has worked with KPMG, Zenith Bank, and is currently in the academia. He was a commissioner at Fiscal Responsibility Commission and senior consultant on World Bank projects. He is a two-time ICAN Star Prize Award winner. I think his middle name should be Lucky. I remember he won 2 cars at 2 consecutive conference. So he's a two-time ICAN Star Prize Award winner. Professor Emmanuel Onoja, PhD FCA, is married and blessed with children. So my professor, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much.
Start your paper.
Thank you, Mr. Balogu. It's a pleasure to be here. This cool evening, I travel all the way from Lokoja to Abuja to ensure that I arrive on time because of other program. My listeners, I want to thank you too much for being on. I think you'll be on before my arrival. I'm seeing the attendance of 349, massive. Bless God for this day. My job today is to look at the potential effect of 2000 and can Fumi help me share the slide, please? Hello, Fumi. Are you there? Hello.
He's already sharing. He's sharing.
Okay. God
it's
bless
been
you.
shared now.
Yes, thank you. Is to look at the potential effect of 2025 tax reform and on Nigerian political system and the role of the young accountants. Here, we are trying to look at the nitty-gritty of what this art is all about and how the young accountant can contribute to this development and learn from it. You see the table of content there. We are saying we look at the introduction, the key aspect of the reform, the role of the young accountant, the effect of on political system, shaping the 2027 political system, challenges to professional practice, and a conclusion. Let's look at it, what actually this paper is talking about. We are saying that the 2025 tax reform in Nigeria aims to simplify the tax system and to reduce compliance burden and align with global best practices. If you all know that before now, Nigeria have a very clumsy tax system that even the tax authorities are sometimes confused, making state government to even leave it to some hoodlums, particularly the produce tax, blocking the road and collecting, meanwhile increasing the cost of goods and services without the government benefiting from those tax, and even enabling these collectors to be collecting crime on the street and raping young children and committing other abnormal crime because nobody knew and how to effectively implement the tax. But this reform will significantly impact Nigerian political system, and young accountants will play what? A crucial role in its transformation. Question is how? I'll tell you another slide. The next slide, please. The 2025 tax reform, notably the Nigerian Tax Act, marked a transformative shift in Nigerian fiscal landscape from manual process to digitally integrated ecosystem. This paper presentation examined the evolving role of the young accountant, people below my age, I guess, characterized as a digital native, who serve as a critical bridge between sophisticated state-driven algorithm and the business community. Central to this transition is the merchant buyer solution, MBS, and a real-time invoicing platform utilizing invoice reference number, IRN, and QR code to automate VAT compliance and ensure transaction transparency. Beyond the technical stewardship, which all of us know, the presentation explored the accountant emergence as a colleagues, explaining more of the nitty-gritty so that people will not be caught in the web. Navigating the shift from profit-based, that's pioneer status, to investment-linked economic development incentive called EDI, and leveraging the 0% tax threshold to formalize a small and medium business enterprise. However, the presentation highlights significant risks within the hard enforcement era, including the current administrative fines, personal liability for practitioner. Here, what we are trying to talk to the young accountant is that most of your clients that are your colleagues or the advocacy you are doing, ensure that you tell them the stiffness of this penalty of not complying. And as you can see in the preceding paper, even the penalties is not only to your client who may not comply, but you are the auditors or the tax representative of that company, you are liable according to this act. And therefore, the young accountant need to be very, very up to date by upskilling and training more, which you will see in our solution later, on how to get yourself out of either earning a meaningful living and get yourself out, not involved in this what they call the risk of saying that you are guilty of non-compliant, including this administrative fine and personal liability for practitioners. This is where I want to draw the young accountant attention to it. The personal liability, you are trying to earn a living or adding value to the group of your client. If you incur a risk by not doing properly, it's no more arguing well as a professional, and your names and your practice may not be speaking well. Compounded by present digital divide in power and connectivity, most of the state revenue services, they don't have enough infrastructural technology to power this. What do we do? It is you now to make yourself available to organize. If you write a good proposal, they will ask you to organize a workshop by training and retraining and ensuring that their system is working up to date. Not when the customer want to file the customer, and we are going to see the liability, which is a loophole. This tax did not say on the service provider. If the failure occur, who bear the liability? Is this act was silent on the liability of the tax authority itself? But I think after the paper, we may have a position paper to present to government, because some of us who are in practice, most of the times you want to upload the file or file your client, you go 10 times, it will tell you not available. Then not available. If it's not available, who bear the pains? It's a question we're going to add ourselves next day, which the tax authority and government need to enlighten us. However, the presentation highlights significant risks within the hard enforcement era, including, like I said, the hard administrative fine and personal liability for practitioners, compounded by a persistent digital divide in power and connectivity. The presentation concludes that the professional resilience of young accountants is fundamental to strengthen social contracts. We should not give up in all the things. We are trained as a chartered accountant. We are passed through the sun, the rain to pass all the exams. So we should not be discouraged by one or two challenges, but let's continuously go on to able to find a solution and help our clients out of the challenges and earn our living. The contract and building instrumental trust required for accountability, Nigerian economy leading to 2027 political horizon. The next slide, please. Yes. So let's look at the key aspects of the reform. One of them is simplified tax system, consolidation of multiple tax law into a single framework, reducing complexity and promoting consistency. The second one is increased transparency, digitalization of tax filing, compliance, and minimizing error and fraud. These are what we are supposed to see going forward by the grace of God. If their infrastructure is error-free and infrastructures are actually to expectation, we believe that the simplicity, even from your room, from your offices, you don't need to call any of the workers of this service to help you in any way like we are experiencing in the past. Fairness and equity. Progressive personal income tax, exempting individuals earning 800 or less per annum. And the economic growth, these are the key aspects. Reducing corporate income tax rate and creating incentive for small SMEs and the startup to be able to employ more and also increase their business. The next slide. Increase their businesses and grow the economy for us. So after this key aspect, we'll see the rules. The next slide, please, for me. Yeah, the rules of a young accountant. This is key, and that as this phenomenon is evolving, we believe that the young accountant has a lot of role to play, and one of them is that tax expertise. Your expertise, your experience will be tested. Some of these young men, particularly our small scale businesses on the street, who want to know, having seen the penalty, that you should come and help them set up their business or file their system. You need to upscale your skill. Read a lot of most of these books and the laws to get insight, and not going there to say I'm coming. It will reduce your respect in place of the client, and therefore to ensure that your client did not incur a lot of cost, you should ensure that appropriate knowledge is passed on to them, and ensuring time filing to comply, to ensure timely compliance. Data analysis, providing insight on tax data to inform policy decision. Stakeholder engagement, and that's where a lot of advocacy needs to be done. Educating taxpayers, promoting transparency, and the last one there is policy recommendation. How do young accountants do that? By contributing to tax policy discussion. I thank God that this administration has able to bring one of our young students who is in the tax policy from Unilori, who now, having seen your colleagues there, you can ask questions during an opportunity like this. You can throw a question, learn, and be ready to learn and contribute to your quota to that. The success of this reform depends on effective implementation, public acceptance, and particularly intergovernmental cooperation. Like we are hearing from the political side, when most of the governors from northern region were against this reform, particularly misinterpreting it to be a punishment or punitive to business, not knowing that the benefit to outweigh their, but thank God they have been able to gradually learn into it. So without their cooperation, this for reform will not be possible, and we are praying that they understand nitty-gritty, that it will be, at long run, it will benefit their government, to benefit their citizens, and all benefit our nation as a whole. Young Atlanta can drive this process, promoting more efficient, equitable, and transparent tax system. The next slide, please. So, we are saying that the 2025 Tax Reform Act presents a fundamental pivot. The next slide, please. The next slide. Good. That it represents a fundamental pivot from manual tax collection to digitally integrated ecosystem, placing the young accountant as the epicenter of Nigeria fiscal modernization. As a digital natives, these young professionals, which you belong, are no longer just recorders of historical financial data. They have become the essential bridge between complex government algorithm and the business community. This transformative rule is defined by two primary pillars. What are they? The mastery of the new physical technology and the leadership of ethical tax advocacy. And this can be done by training and retraining, submitting yourself to learning, practical involvement, mingling with elders in the system, and learning more. Bring down your head to learn more. Because the more you learn, the more you acquire the knowledge, the more you make more money or resources for yourself for survival. Remember, most of these clients, once you make a mistake or one in their application on serving them, they'll look for another person. Will you want to lose your client for careless thing? No. And therefore, learning of this, mastering of this physical technology will provide enough edge for you in the market. At the heart of this digital transaction is the Merchant Buyer Solution, MBS, an electronic invoicing platform implemented by the Nigerian Revenue Service under Section 23 of the Nigerian Tax Administration Act. Businesses are now mandated to adopt an electronic physical system EFX, for real-time transaction reporting. In addition, the MBS acts as a validating gateway for B2B, B2B, and that will likely associated with them by your clients. Beyond this technical implementation, the 2025 reform provide a platform for young accountants to lead a new wave of ethical and be of a help by giving you the background, by giving you the lead, and by the next slide, please. By then, you're able to be equip yourself and get yourself acquainted. The next slide, acquainted with. Are you hearing me? Please, the next slide. Hello. Good. I said beyond this technical implementation, the 2024 reform provided a platform for young accountants to lead the new wave of ethical advocacy. With your energy, you lead the way and you'll be surely competitive. With the abolition of pioneer statute in favor of performance-based economic development incentive, the accountant rule has shifted from seeking blanket tax holiday to verifying real. This is where transparency comes, and your energy and your expertise is needed here. Verifying the real transaction, traceable capital deployment, not pioneer standing, which is the black. You must verify it, what has been spent, what is the focus of that business before these holidays can be granted. And these professionals have become a transparency vanguard, advocacy, catalyst, utilizing public sensitivity platform to bridge the knowledge gap for SMEs and startups by educating business on 0% tax rate for companies with turnover under 50 million. They encourage formalization and help entrepreneurs navigate the transition without fear of harassment, which is correct. That's why you're being close in when we're embarking those days to tell something, customer, know your customer, KYC. You better know your customer, adopt him. Yeah, most of these new businesses, when they hear tax, they are afraid. How much income have I that you are talking of tax? To them, tax is a burden because they didn't see government doing anything to help them. In this environment of insecurity, your taxpayer, your client will ask you, what did the government do for me before you're asking me to pay tax? So it is you to encourage them to say by their contribution, not only benefit them today, but benefit them tomorrow. For instance, look at this electricity bill. A band electricity now, if you are in need, 100,000 will not save you a month. But if government uses tax to subside it, maybe 20,000 can do you and your family. That is the benefit you explain to them, what their task, function their task can perform. Furthermore, there are positions to resist aggressive tax planning. Aggressive tax planning by emphasizing long-term fiscal sustainability, ensuring that the digital trade left by the MBS hold both corporation and the government accountable. The next slide. The young accountants serving as a bridge. The enactment of this 2025 tax reform has signified the most significant structural changes in Nigerian fiscal history since the transition to democracy. Signed into law on 26 June 2025 by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, these reforms aim to modernize a fragmented and inefficient system that has historically depended on outdated manual process. Like I said, the example is this road tax and produce tax that increase the cost of locally made food and transportation. Those people on the road, you see, they are heavy stomach. These taxes they are collecting is not going to the government, and government kept those taxes to punish the farmers and the produce and the common man on the street. But this by abolishing all this now, considering to one, those phenomena will no more be experienced, and I believe the price of goods and services will be going down gradually if efficiently implemented. Empirically, you can see what they say in Nigeria today. We also see the legislative overhead seek to simplify tax compliance, boost economic competitiveness, store transparent social contract between the state and its citizen, as noted thereby by one of our scholars too. The next slide. The reform is anchored on 4 landmark statutes. Yes, collectively referred to as somebody is interfering. Question at this time? No. The act which replaced and consolidates several legacy tax include the company income tax, CITA, the personal income tax, PITA, the value added tax, also PwC noted this in 2025 accordingly. The Nigerian Tax Act 2000 consolidated all federal tax laws into a unified statute to eliminate duplication and provide a single reference for taxpayer. Parallel to this, the Nigerian Tax Administration Act 2000 harmonized administrative procedure across federal, state, and local ties. I'm happy to tell you that about 11 states have actually harmonized and submit themselves to this reform, and other states, including my own state, Kogi State, they have buy into this and are able to eliminate and align themselves with this act and making tax payment a bit efficient and lessen the burden on the taxpayer in Kogi State. Parallel to this, the Nigerian Tax Administrative Harmonized Administrative Tax Federal and State Law, yes, according to Bao and Igalo 2025, they noted in the Article 2 that this is efficient and it can contribute to service efficiency. Furthermore, the Nigerian Service Establishment Act formally transformed to Nigeria formerly Federal Inland Revenue into the Nigerian Federal Revenue Service, an autonomous, digitally driven agency with expanded mandate for both tax, non-tax revenue. Collectively, finally, the Joint Revenue Board, as you know, replaces the Joint Tax Board to enhance intergovernmental coordination, mitigate the incident of multiple taxation across federation. This was noted also by Addison in their publication in 2025. The next slide. So, overriding goal of this 2025 reform in this transition from manual leakage-proofing environment to unified digital first framework under the NTTA, the Nigerian Revenue Service has introduced a real-time VAT fiscalization system where large taxpayers were mandated to adopt the merchant buyers solution by November of that year, before this year. This enabled the government to validate transactions where a unique invoice reference number called coded IRN and the psychographic stamp before invoice are legally issued is also noted in one of experts in 2012 by S. Leon. By integrating tax administration with the national identification application number and bank verification code, this is where you need to explain to a lot of your customers, the young accountant. What some of them, when they ask, is, oh, if I have 20 million in the account, the government is going to tax. They will charge. No, that's not true. The essence is to ensure, in case your customer refuses to file, the tax authority can ask the bank to send them the details of your customer and able to give the appropriate charges. So, allowed by advocacy, align their fear that the money they have in the account will not turnover in the account does not represent the tax. Government will not just go and tax them because they pay money to the account or collect money. No, it is on their profit. And that is more the advocacy you are going to do, the young accountant need to do to their customers or clients. The system aims to broaden the tax base while reducing the human discretion that often fuel corruption, both the practitioners and the part of the practitioner and even the officials of the commission. Sometimes they are also involved in the difficulties by making taxpayer redundant in paying their tax. The next slide. These reforms introduce specific threshold. Yes, specific threshold and formula designed to protect the vulnerable while creating incentive for business growth to support business formalization. Companies with annual turnover of 50 million or less or fixed asset under 250 million are subject to 0% companies income tax, as you can see in that law also quoted by this expert. However, it is important to know that these exemptions exclude professional service provider, which means the lawyers, the chartered accountants are all excluded from this, such as an accounting firm and law firm, which remain subject to standard rate regardless of the turnover. This is where you may also know the young accountant in practice need to know themselves that this declaration does not affect the accounting firm and the law firm. Regarding individual earner, the reform introduced a bracket system that exempts earning 800 or less annually, while higher earners face aggressive scale ranging from 0 to 25% for income exceeding. Yeah, we in academics or in practice sometimes, most of these civil servants, they'll run to you with their salary. This is, yeah, they have overcharged me. They say a new tax law. What do I do? Please help me calculate. They may not pay you, but helping them will increase your efficiency, will increase your marketability, will increase your exposure to other things, and they can refer you to other clients to help them. So help them calculate to show them that this 800,000 naira they are saying, it is not on monthly basis, but annually after deducting all the allowable deduction relief granted by the Act. The next batch, please. The next. As you can see there, yes. So the 2025 Tax Reform Act will fundamentally alter the political. We are talking of the effect on political system. Will fundamentally alter the political economy of Nigeria, shifting the focus from the mere distribution of wealth, yes, to a more continued debate over internally generated revenue. At the center of this transformation is the consumption-based innovation. Ramat, drop your call. Drop your call. We are on this thing. Yes. Model for the VAT, which has redefined the relationship between the federal government and the federating unit. Historically, VAT was largely remitted where the company headquarters was located. And this is what Oyedele Taiwo was trying to explain with a lot of effort, that most of the northern governors are against this because they felt that this policy, if approved as enacted now, will affect them without knowing the nitty-gritty that this thing will benefit them. Dispassionately benefiting states like Lagos, Rivers, and Federal Capital Territory. Under the new framework, the distribution formula allocate 10% to the federal government, 55% to the state, 35% to local government, with 60% of the subnational, that is the state we are saying, sharing the distributed based on consumption within each. And this has where the state government has to go and look for investment. So that if you don't have any manufacturing company in your organization, you don't provide essential amenity to attract villagers or your population to come and settle so that they can consume more of these things, you collect less of this revenue. And this is a challenge that in your advocacy as young accountant, in case you have opportunity of meeting the government officials, the more the chunking of these millions they are giving them, they use it to do more infrastructure, provide essential services to attract more population and investment into their state, the more they benefit from this reform. The next slide. So we are also next slide. So this shift has significant regional tension. Oh, go back. Yes, this shift has ignited significant regional tension. Like I told you, the Northern Governors Forum and the other regional leaders have expressed concern that the modern inherently disadvantaged, less industrialized state. Why? The question is that this lamentation. Why have they not made effort with all the allocation they have been collecting to create industry, to attract industry to their state? I'm proud this tax is an eye-opener. I love it and I support it 100%. That you make them to sit up. No more wearing agbada and be toying England and UK. Go to your state and work so that you can develop and earn more revenue. With low formal consumption pattern, particularly potentially widen the economic disparity between the North and the South. It's also noted in this Brinkman Law 2025. Politically, this forces state governors to pivot from relying on state hangout. We're talking of this hangout, we're talking of FAC, to actively competing for private investment. Yes, let them go out and look for investors and create a heaven in their state to attract more investment and more entrepreneurs to set up industry and create more jobs. Both in local commerce to secure a large share of VAT pool. This competition is effectively a move toward true fiscal federalism, which our people have been crying for or aiming for, where states are incentivized to create business-friendly environment to enhance revenue profile. The next slide. The next slide. Yes. Furthermore, the reform has defined the social contract. What is the social contract we are talking about here? As they collect your revenue or collect your allocation from federal government, what have they done for you? A lot of us will now be asking questions. Go and inspect what they are doing. Does that value for money project they are giving you, was it economical? Was it efficient to what you are saying? The value for money, the project they are doing, does it meet your need? Does it meet your community need? The money they paid, was it actual what they work for? You able to ask questions, having known what actually is coming to them. By exempting individual earning 800 or less annually, the government has shaded the most vulnerable from direct tax burden, while the progressive scale, peaking at 25% for higher earners, target the middle and the upper class. And this creates a new political dynamics as the professional class and the high net individual contribute more similarly to the national pulse. Their demand for government accountability and quality public service is expected to intensify. That's what we are saying. If you know you are also contributing and the government of your state is not providing the services equivalent to what you are collecting, will you keep quiet? No. Shout, complain, write, so that relevant authority will hear and make sure that these people do what they are supposed to do with your money. The taxpayer identity is increasingly becoming a platform for political activism as citizens move from a passive observer to stakeholders who expect a visible return on their investment in the state. The next one. And that's why we want NGOs to also be active participants in this part. I no agree, no. What do you use our money for? Let's be making noise. Let's be carrying platform and say, we want to see evidence. Brief us what you have done with our money in the last allocation. We want to see evidence. In this high-stake political landscape, the rule of the young accountant has transited from mere compliance to strategic navigation of regional or ethical tensions. Young accountants serve as a technical intermediary who must interpret the new tax fiscalization requirement for business operating across states line. Their expertise crucial in ensuring that consumption is accurately attributed to the correct jurisdiction, a tax that now has a direct political consequence for state revenues. Moreover, as Nigerian Revenue Service gain greater digital autonomy, young professionals are positioned as the vanguard of transparency, using data-driven insight to mitigate the political leakage that has historically plugged the revenue service. By providing non-partisan fiscal analysis, young accountants act as a stabilizing force, bridging the gap between state-level revenue ambition and the federal government driven for unified regional market. The next slide. So, shaping for 2027 political reason. What do we mean by that? As Nigerian approach 2027 general election, the 2025 Tax Reform Act have moved the nation beyond a renter state model towards a system where fiscal transparency is a prerequisite for political legitimacy. The intersection of rigorous tax enforcement and enhanced civil awareness is pausing to redefine the political landscape. The taxpayer identity begins to rival ethnic or regional affiliation as the primary drivers of voting behavior, with the middle class and the high earners subject to a more progressive 25% tax bracket. The demand for visible return on tax will likely be defining term, not only young accountant, but the experienced accountant and others like me and you. We should not leave only a young accountant here. I'm trying to speak to our colleagues. We should also not be afraid of dying today because you are speaking the truth to the government. If you are afraid of dying today, tomorrow you will also die. So let's also join the young ones to speak that they collect huge allocation month in, month out. We don't see anything. We should be shouting. Let's all of us be vanguard for this crazy. Young accountants serve as a strategic audit. The next slide, please. Hello. Yes. We are talking shaping the 2027 horizon continues. In this evolving democracy, young accountants serve as a strategic auditors of the social contract by navigating the complexity of MBS and the steep penalties of the Nigerian Tax Administration Act. They ensure the digital trail of governance is preserved. Report what you see in your area, post it on social media, and let the world see. Their role in translating physical data into accessible public information empower voters to hold candidate accountable for revenue, how revenue applies, infrastructure and social. And that is why I'm excited by this, that the young accountant, nature now hold you responsible, not only to ensure compliance, but report on the performance of what they are using this revenue to do, so that those who are not performing, when they read it in the media, in the other places, they will now be forced to put another reading cap to do what is necessary, what is needful to benefit you and me in the state or in the country. Ultimately, The success of this reform depends on the professional resilience of the new generation, including me and you. We should not say it's only the young accountant, including me and you who are being practiced. We are not better off. But with this reform, if we take it to heart, leading the champion, leading the hurdle, we will be able to get something out for our generation to come. Despite daunting sanctions and infrastructure hurdle, which I said earlier, epileptics network, tax promise is a frustrating system that have been tested, although it's working.
Prof. Onoja.
Hello, sir.
Please check your WhatsApp. For some time we cannot hear you, but check your WhatsApp, sir.
Okay, it's a network. All right. Ultimately, the success of this reform depends on the professional resilience of this new generation. Despite daunting sanctions, their commitment to advocacy provide a data-driven foundation requirement for transparency in 2027 data process and sustainable Nigerian future. Please let me check my WhatsApp as the Oga Balogo has said. The network here is blinking that we are hearing. You see my time up? The next slide.
We have about 5 more. We have about 5 more minutes, sir.
Yeah, the challenges, yes, good. Challenges to professional practice. However, while this reform offer a path towards a modernized economy, there's simultaneously improve a rigorous and often unforgiving environment for professional practice for both old and the young. Professional agency of young accountants is currently being tested by combination of decorum financial sanctions and system infrastructure deficit. This act has transformed from region of gentle persuasion to one of aggressive deterrence. Under Section 104,
Hello, Prof. Are you still there? Fumi, is Prof still there? Okay, he's there. Prof, you are muted. You are muted, sir. Kindly unmute. Can no longer hear you. Unmute, sir. You are still muted.
hello.
We can hear you now. Please write on, sir.
Hello.
We can hear you. You can write on, sir.
Thank you. So let's go to conclusion. Okay,
Yes,
good. However, like I said, the challenge for the professionals. I will say why this reform offer a path to modernize the economy, simultaneously imposing a regulations and what unforgiving environment. Sorry, somebody is tampering with this system somewhere, or interfering with my presentation. Good. Unforgiving environment, professional practice. Are you hearing me now? Hello.
Loud and clear, you're allowed.
Good. I said the art has transited from region of gentle persuasion. That's why practitioners need to be careful to one of the aggressive deterrents. Under Section 104, failure to use mandated physical system carry an immediate administrative penalty of 200,000 plus a staggering 100% of tax due and interest as a prevailing Central Bank of Nigeria rate. Additionally, and this is where we need to be careful, daily running penalty of up to 10,000 for failure to provide document create a ticking clock for practitioner. Most dauntingly, aiding and abetting. How do you aid and abet? By lawyering, maybe trying to tell them that the turnover presented may not be true. If you lower it or reduce it, the tax law will catch you as a young accountant. So don't help your clients by saying we want to do this. Make sure you do the proper thing, guide the person to make sure he comply fully. Aiding and abetting is a tax offense. Now carry the same weight as the offense itself, with potential administrative charge of 1 million or imprisonment for the up to 3 years. Up to 3 years. Let's go to conclusion. We have seen the challenges for the practice. Can we go to the last slide, please? Good. Go to the last slide. Conclusion. The 2025 Act is set to reshape Nigerian political landscape. The young accountant should be prepared not just to drive, but as a catalyst for the change by doing the following: tax expertise, navigating reform, ensuring proper compliance, optimizing benefit to yourself and to the society, policy influence, shaping tax narrative, promoting transparency. How do you do this? Apart from reporting performance by what they use this tax for, you should be able to know that proper publicity is given to this art in your area. Economic policy, economic stewardship, advising business and individual on tax rate and strategy to avoid penalties. This reform presents an opportunity for Nigeria, in all honesty, to build a more robust, equitable tax system. Young accountants are key to unlocking this potential. Thank you, and God bless you for listening.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof. Can we do some top up for Prof? Top up for Nojad.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof, for that beautiful presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me just do some recap of what Professor Noja has told us about the tax reforms. So at the outset, during the introduction, he told us the key aspects of the tax reform, that the Tax Reform Act is more simplified. It increased the level of transparency when it comes to tax affairs. It also ensures fairness and equity. And we have inbuilt the economic growth. Then the professor was able to highlight the roles of chartered accountants when it comes to the new tax reform. Number one, we are going to be seen as tax experts. We must be able to analyze data. We must be able to engage stakeholders on the Tax Reform Act. They must be able to do policy recommendation. So the professor has told us that we are now a bridge between the masses and the tax authorities. As professionals, we must be able to explain to the masses the content and the applications of the new tax reform. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I've been able to have 2 questions for Professor from the participants. So, Professor, I will read out the questions, then you just provide the answers. So, the first one is from Festus. He said, with the new Tax Act, as consumption tax that is administered by the state, has it been repealed? And if yes, which of the NTA or NTA stated that? So, wants to know whether the state's consumption tax has been repealed. Then from Emmanuel, it's a 2-in-1 question. He said you should shed more light on reservation of some of the big 4 regarding the new Tax Act. There was some reservation about the commencing the tax and giving some discrepancies. So we should shed more light on this. Then he equally said you should identify some loopholes in the tax law, if any. So those 2-in-1 questions are from Kojo Emmanuel.
Okay.
So over to you, sir.
Okay, the first one, the consumption, this act, reform, repeal the consumption tax, exactly. That question is absolutely yes. It has totally repealed that to ensure that there's no duplication of this VAT. What is VAT? The VAT is also, in no indirect way, a consumption tax. And therefore, they took this new current reform now.
Here you want to believe it's network issue. Professor, are you still there? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think we have lost Professor Onoja from the network. I think he's having some. Okay, back. Prof, are you back? Please unmute. You are muted, sir. Please unmute. Prof, please unmute.
Hello, are you hearing me? Yeah.
We can hear you. We can hear you now.
Are there any loophole? Yes. There may presently, until the full implementation is coming up, you may not notice, but there are loopholes we have seen from a distance. For instance, you are placing that on the aggressive sanction, it is not achievable. That because somebody has failed, I want to file my client's tax last week, and I find out that penalty for failing to file that penalty from 2024, 2025, 2026 law has covered it 100,000 instead of the 20,000, 25,000 and 5,000, has jumped to 100,000 and 50,000. In fact, me and you will close our shop and say, how much do I aim to go and pay 450,000 for 2024 returns you didn't file? That is one of the challenge, and it's also a loophole I see. I want to believe that this tax, apart from discouraging compliance and non-compliance, it should be flexible, not so punitive that you must pay heavy penalty for because you have mistakenly or the economy did not favor you. I don't have money to go and pay this and punish. So to me, that backlog should be eliminated completely, and let's start afresh from 2026 year as the tax. But backdating it to me is more punitive than the sanction itself. Then the big four, yeah, that reservation is key, but I also want to advise that we should give it a chance. As implementation continue, progresses, we'll see, go to see some flexibility. Then we'll write, advocacy will bring out more technical town hall meeting will go. We are going to write, and the tax authority also will be able to see to simplify, and we'll get a better result. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof, for doing justice to the questions from the participants. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our time is fast spent, and we are almost rounding up the webinar. So may I now invite our chairman, Dr. Dikines Nju Oyemenam FCA, Accountant General Abia State, and a distinguished council member to give his last word and vote of thanks to the participants and the resource persons. Madam. Chairman.
I'm here.
Okay, ma'am.
All right, so our vote of thanks. Mr. Balogun, but I thought Ejodame was here, right? I thought she was taking
I didn't see her. She's not here. That's why I've called you.
Okay, so you're professional accountants. We are practicing what we are teaching you. You have to always be ready at all times. Take all opportunities. So let's say thank you to everyone for making this session a very beautiful insightful, engaging, a wonderful session that is building us up as young accountants. I would like to say thank you to our wonderful webinar presenters. First of all, Mr. Uzochukwu Obi in FCA, our partner with KPMG. Thank you for doing justice to mentorship in tech and business for young accountants. Mr. Uzochukwu Obi has been here since 3 p.m. with us. He has taught us and he has learned from us. He has engaged us. He has given us all of his rests right here just to make sure that he imbibes into us the grace and the ability to be good mentees, adopt wonderful mentors, and then we can be sure that we're focused going to the top. Again, I want to thank Dr. Professor Emmanuel Onoja, FCA, for your time that you have invested in us, in helping us to shed light on the potential effects of 2025 tax reforms on Nigerian political systems and the role of the young accountants in a time like this. I will not go dwelling into your session because you have already done justice to it. I can't do it better than you have done. Thank you very much, Prof, for investing your time and your energy and your intellectual resource to making these young accountants much more better in knowledge of what they have known. Thank you. I want to thank myself as well. I want to thank myself for also being here. I'm actually very excited to be opportune to be able to speak to young accountants, young professionals. It's good to know that there are young people who are listening to us and who want to also learn from us, that we are role models you can access anytime, anywhere. I also want to say thank you to the Secretariat, to the Institute's Secretariat that has also dedicated so much time and energy to making today a very wonderful, fruitful session. I want to assure you that we'll be coming over and over again to you as young accountants. We have more sessions for you. In the subsequent months, just look out for us, bring your friends. We have a lot to teach you. You have a lot to learn from the Young Accountants Development Committee. The Young Accountants Development Committee is one of the board committees of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. So I acknowledge all my board members who are here and co-council members who have joined us in this session. Thank you, everyone. Without the board members of the Young Accountants Committee, we would not have today happen. So thank you for bringing up all these wonderful topics and teaching us, helping us to get all these insights. So we bless you all. I want to also thank the 61st president of the Institute that has given us this enabling platform to do well today. So I wish you all a wonderful Valentine, a wonderful weekend, responsible Valentine, responsible. And don't let Valentine make you not deliver at work on Monday. That's the kind of young accountants that we're.
But I know I'm laughing.
Yes. Yes. So
responsible Valentine. Which Valentine is not responsible?
They know what I mean. They've learned how to become.
But look, do you know what Madam is talking about?
Leadership identity.
I don't know.
Valentine, when you finish Valentine, you go back to work as if you didn't do Valentine. Don't go to work and let everybody know that Valentine is your life now. So enjoy, spread the love. We love you all. ICAN loves you. Our 65th president loves you. And we all that have been opportune to speak to you today, we love you so much. Thank you, Mr. Balogun. Thank you, Fumi. Thank you, Bodom Yak. Thank you all, and God bless Nigeria. God bless young accountants of ICAN. God bless all accountants that have listened to us. Take care. Cheers.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, for thanking us. We thank you too, because you are the head of the committee that made this to happen. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, whatever has a beginning must have an end. So we have come to the end of this webinar. So technical, can we have the anthems?
We can hear the sound.
Let's go right and found the treasure in triumph and the race, standing stronger in harmony, building a land together. Dreams of a founding fathers, we are striving to attain our counting values that we share through all ages be sustained. Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. Noble ICAN, noble ICAN, your accuracy we cherish. We uphold your integrity. Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, everybody.